Salutations, adventurers! Welcome to Roll for Felicity, where we play serialized one-shots in a multitude of systems with assorted players. And today, I am here with Sir Hackalot, Natalie, and Mish, and we are playing Warrenguard, which was written by Natalie, who's playing the game. But I'm the one in charge. um, if you're new here, my name is Taylor Felicity. I use she, her pronouns. And I also am usually the GM for games, and that's the case for tonight. I'm also going to introduce our icebreaker question for the game so you can get to know all of us a little bit. And the icebreaker for this game is, who is your favorite dragon? Because, of course, we are all about dragons tonight. I'll go first. My favorite dragon is probably the Luck Dragon from Neverending Story, which is just one of my favorite like childhood movies. And if people in chat, like Melanie's in chat, people who know me know that I'm such a sucker for like puppets and Muppets. So like a giant like Muppet dragon is like exactly everything that I want in the world. But I'm going to throw it over to my players to introduce themselves, and we are going to start with Hack.
All right, hey everybody. It's me, Sir Hackalot. I'm here. I'm on your screen. I'm just happy to be here. This is great. I use she/they pronouns, and my favorite dragon is Penelope, that purple dragon from the Barbie Rapunzel movie.
Oh yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't know why that was like one of the first things that came to mind. When we first got that question, I was like, I like her character arc. She's very sweet. She's very cute. And yeah, she'll be one of my favorites.
Great. Natalie, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us about your favorite dragon?
Hi, I'm Natalie Pudim. I use she, her pronouns, and I think my favorite dragon is Ruth from the Dragon Riders of Pern book series. She's like a white dragon who's like small and sassy, and like Ruth's personality informs a lot of the dragon personalities in this game.
That's really good. I like that. I read those books when I was too young to have
Uh-huh.
read them,
Yeah,
which means that
yeah,
I also don't remember them that well, except for some parts that I remember extremely well.
yeah. I went back and read them as part of this project, and like I was like, oh wow, I read those as a kid.
Yeah, but good, you know. They're good,
Yeah,
very queer
yeah.
from what I remember books,
Uh-huh.
so good. And then Mish, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mish. I go by he, him pronouns. And while I probably had a ton of dragons that I loved growing up, as I read a ton of books like Xanth and things like that, the one that reignited my love for dragons, as hard as it is nowadays, would be Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. I've got nearly 20 pieces of merchandise of him, and I will most assuredly get more.
Very good. All good dragons. These are all good options for dragons. So the game that we're playing today is called Warrenguard, and as you may have surmised, there are actually a lot of people I think in chat right now are already big Warrenguard heads, so I might not even have to explain this at all. But we will be playing dragon riders, and for me, dragons. Um, who live together in this community and basically live in this like floating island above a hold, which is their duty to protect. The game has two phases of play that we'll be doing tonight. The first phase is called rider play, where it kind of uses a belonging outside belonging system, and then switches over about halfway through to dragon play, which uses a fate system. But the game really combines both of them in a really fun way. So there is like some bleed between the two phases. I am such a sucker for belonging outside belonging games and mixing that with other games. So as soon as Natalie was like, "Hey, do you want to play my game on stream?" I was like, "Yes, immediately." Immediately, yes. It's such a cool game. So we'll explore more of that as the game, actually plays. We'll talk more about the mechanics and things that as they come up. But that's kind of just the baseline for people who are watching if you're not familiar. But I'm actually going to throw it over to Natalie to talk about, because the game's currently funding on BackerKit. So to talk about the stretch goals and where you're at in funding and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, Warrenguard is currently live on BackerKit. I made a nice helpful link. If you go to warrenguardgame.com, that will bring you right to it. Also, it looks like you set up a Bitly link that's right
I
in
did
chat.
set up a Bitly link, yes.
That is excellent. Yeah, you can head to there to back it. We funded in 7 hours. We hit
Very cool.
double our funding goal in 28. We're currently just under um, $13,500.
Very cool.
And um, yeah, it is. We have two stretch goals coming up at 15,000. We're going to we're gonna get a new piece of art by Shan Benion, who did some of the art for the game already. And that is going to come as a physical postcard. It's going to be a landscape of this world with dragons
Oh,
in the
that's so cool.
sky and floating islands.
Oh,
And you're going to get it as a physical postcard that you can mail or put on your fridge or decorate your office with. Um, and then the second stretch goal that I am just blown away is at 20,000. We're going to get Jade Dragon writing for this game. Jay Dragon, who wrote Wander Home and Sleep Away and Yuzeba's Bed and Breakfast. Um, Wander Home and Yuzeba's were both inspirations for this game. So getting Jay on the project to actually write for it is unbelievable. But that can only happen with your help. So please back Warrenguard. We've got 23 days left, but don't wait till the end. Backing it now helps me plan for where we're going to go and things like that. So please, it would mean a lot to me.
Very cool. Very exciting stuff. A dragon writing for a dragon game.
Huh?
Super cool. So the next thing that I have to go over is if you are watching, also Mish, your camera is going off and on, just so you know. I don't know.
I love this. I'm so glad we're having.
Not the darkness.
The
That's not supposed to
darkness.
happen yet.
The darkness returns.
No.
So while we wait for Mish to come back, I will mention a couple of things that you can do if you're watching right now to help the stream and to help the game. And also shout out some things that have already happened. The first thing that you can do is if during the game there are moments that you think would be great to see a clip of, see it like on TikTok or short form content, but you don't want to make a clip in that moment because you don't want to miss what's going to happen next, or you're watching on mobile and clipping on mobile is really annoying. You can just use the the command ! Marker, or I think also if you just do hey Taylor. Yes, also makes a mark for me to come back and make a clip of that moment. Super, super helpful to me. Because then I don't have to scrub through the entire thing and find moments myself. I can just listen to the crowd. The next thing that you can do is we do have some channel point redeems. Channel points, if you're not familiar with Twitch, are a free asset basically that you get as you watch streams. One of the ones that is pertinent, especially to this game, and Melanie just used, for 300 felicitations, or channel points, you can have Dragon Breath hit the chat. So if you want to set the chat on fire, you can do that for absolutely free. Just the cost of having watched the stream for a little bit. The other thing that you can do is we do have some tip rewards. There you go. Yeah. Set
Everyone
the chat
doing it
on
at once.
fire.
Yeah.
And maybe I just did it twice as long. The other thing that you can do is I do have some tip rewards. Is this the recommend? Yes. You can use Twitch bets or go to my Ko-fi to tip guests for the stream. For this stream, the bonuses will be for 200 bits or $2. You can pick a person to give a token to, which is basically like an asset for the game that people can use to do exciting things. And you can even give me a token if you'd like with that one. That I can use to torment the players and make things more juicy. For 500 bits or $5, you can give everyone except for me a token. For the $5 option, it's all the players, but you don't have to worry about me doing anything to them. But if you really, really want something juicy to happen, you can tip $10 or 1,000 bits to have me add a complication to the game. And for this game, I actually do have one in mind that will hit if it happens, so that's very exciting. And all those tips will be split among the guests after the game, so that is just a way that you can basically tip the players. Let me just message me to say, don't have a panic attack. Everything's
Please,
totally
it's
fine.
okay.
It's okay. There's always technical problems. The other thing that you may have noticed is I do have a, this is not like a charity stream, but I do have, as I'm streaming, a charity goal for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. It's set up directly through Twitch, so if you donate to that, it goes like to Twitch, and then Twitch gives it to the charity. So it's very easy on my end because it just is. I'm not having to mess with the funds at all. It goes straight to the charity. And actually, now that I've mentioned that, Natalie already started off strong with a $15 donation to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, which is just really good. It's an organization that is helping with medical relief specifically for children in Palestine, which I'm sure, as everyone knows, is sorely needed right now. So it's a very good organization. The last thing that you can do to help the stream, congratulations, you're already doing it. Whether you're watching us live right now on Twitch or you are watching the VOD on YouTube later, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy what you're about to see. And I'm glad that you're here watching. And then of course it goes without saying, but absolutely go back this game. That is definitely a good idea. And I am just stuttering as I type in the link again for Warrenguard. So click that link, back the game so J Dragon can write for the game, because that's, I mean, who doesn't want that? And then I'm stalling just a tiny bit, but while I'm stalling, I'm gonna shout out some other follows and things that have happened. So Critical K, thank you so much for the follow. Silent Infinity, thank you for the follow. And Mila, you are canonically first in chat. Doesn't matter the timeline of things. We're warping time and space so that you were the first person in chat, canonically documented forever and ever. So thank you for that channel redeem. And also thanks for everyone sending the chat on fire. Those are all of those things that I'm going to do. So, I will go ahead and just start with some opening narration for the game as we wait for our other dragon rider to come back. But for the benefit of everyone watching and for the benefit of our dragon riders this evening. Oh, you're here. Just in time. Oh no.
The arc of this is I'm so invested.
Yeah,
I'm
so
so
chat
invested. I
chat
just
can't
want to
see.
see Mish succeed.
Yeah. Chat can't see, but Misha reappeared in our call, but all the lights are off. And he immediately face palmed as if something was going wrong. So is everything okay? Are you back? Okay. Oh no. Okay, let me add you back to the overlay. Okay. While you're doing that, I will add you to the overlay really quick.
Oh, there's some lights.
Oh. I was like, I didn't add him to the overlay, but it's because the lights were completely off. There was just nothing I could see, so I was like, why is this not working? It is working. Okay, and then everything else should be good. Yes, okay, we're good. Mish, you got here just in time for me to start reading the opening narration. So all you missed was me talking to chat, basically. So, as the sun rises over the hold of Voda, it is hard to see anything but thick clouds of mist suspended in the air. As it clears, the reason for the abundance of mist also becomes clear. The valley is cleft by a raging river that flows by the eastern side of the city, lined on both banks by fishers already busy catching fish for the Warrenguard's tithe. After passing the city, the river flows impossibly straight up into the sky, a reverse waterfall flowing through the flying island above, where Voda's Warrenguard live and train. The Windborne River attracts thousands of sightseers a year, and as the river splashes over the other side of the floating island, the sun fully coming up over the mountain, the first rainbow of the day is formed. The churning pillars of water create so much spray, soon the valley is filled with the rainbows that significantly boost the economy of this little city. The rainbows are reflected in the collection of glittering lakes that surround the hold, amplifying their beauty. Today, Voda is honoring its Warrenguard with a ball. So, my first question for each of you is, how are you preparing for this ball? And also tell us a little bit about your character. And I actually think, Natalie, you should probably go
Uh-huh.
first because you are the commander of this Warrenguard.
Yes. I'm playing Dorothea Blaze Rider. Dorothea is the old timer archetype. Um, she has been around. She is into her late 60s at this point. She has been riding dragons for over 50 years. Um, and she is the commander of the Voda Warren Guard. Um, Dorothea is always up before the sun. It's been something that was drilled into her since her days training at the Caldera. And this morning she took the time to put on her dress uniform. She's wearing, just a pair of black slacks with red stripes running up the side, and a dress jacket just covered in medals and commendations. And I think she is up early in her room. Her room for a long time in her training was sparse, but now it is plush and lovely because she shares a room with her wife, Pepper. And Dorothea is sitting back in a overstuffed leather chair, drinking a cup of coffee and smoking a pipe, um, while she watches Pepper get up and start picking out like what clothes she's gonna wear, and is just
Mhm.
kind of amusedly watching her.
Yeah, I think Pepper actually is like kind of, you wake up before her, you've already
Mhm,
mentioned, and I think she actually wakes up to the pipe smoke. So is like
mhm,
in bed and kind of like she has this long hair that's like mostly black but with a lot of gray in it, especially in the front. She has a gray piece that
mhm,
she usually tucks behind her ear, but it's all kind of tangled around her. She has light brown skin and is I don't I don't think you said this about her, but I decided it about your wife.
uh-huh,
That she is a fat femme because
uh-huh.
fat
Yes,
people
I
are
definitely believe that. Yeah,
beautiful and
yeah.
that's just the
Uh-huh,
facts.
uh-huh.
And is kind of laying in bed and wakes up kind of rubbing her eyes a little bit and pushing her hair out of her face, and the smoke kind of pipe smoke having woken her up, she gets up and stretches a little bit and goes, "Ah, okay, first things first," and like goes over and opens the window for
Mhm,
the pipe smoke to go out. And then comes over, like kind of wraps her robe around her and like leans over to give you a kiss.
mhm. And Dorothea leans in and just absorbs, like just melts into Pepper. Dorothea is a butch woman. She's got like a cropped haircut that's turned fully gray at this point. Wrinkles kind of line her face. She's got a few tattoos on her arm that are covered by her dress jacket now, and uh, yeah, and she just melts into Pepper and says, "Good morning. I thought you'd sleep in a little longer today."
it's a big day. I should probably get ready. Are you gonna pick out what you're wearing, or do you want me to give you some options?
And Dorothea looks down and was like, "Is there something wrong with this?"
I think Pepper kind of looks appraisingly and is like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think we could spice things up a little bit because it's this big gala, and also it's first thing in the morning. You're just gonna wear that all day and then go to the event.
I just, I know you enjoy costume changes, Pepper, but that's never been. I will wear whatever you pick out for me, darling.
She smiles and is like, okay, I'll put something together. And I think she starts kind of like unpinning your pins and accommodations because she wants to like put those on whatever the outfit
Uh-huh.
is. So she's kind of just like, as she's kind of kissing you and doing that kind of like snuggly morning thing where you've like
Uh-huh.
just woken up, but is also kind of like taking off things to like put them on something else. And I imagine you probably have other like kind of garb that is like more,
Mhm.
I don't want to say military, but like military-esque kind of
Right.
vibe. So it's like formal stuff that she's maybe
Mhm.
starting to look through and decide on what the two of you will wear.
Uh-huh.
And I think let's next go to, actually, I think let's next go to Harley as the fresh face. What is Harley doing to prepare for this gala?
Harley has also gotten up at the ass crack of whenever and has become the most obnoxious creature in the entire world. She has dreamed of going to a big gala, big party thing like this for forever, and
Mhm.
has dragged herself and her dragon out to properly get cleaned. They're deep in the baths right now, um, which is probably a perfectly good place for Clay to be, but it's obnoxious getting her scales scrubbed out individually with a toothbrush by her rider, who
Yeah.
has spent the whole morning rebraiding her hair, floofing it up, making sure it's as cute as possible, and then wrapping it in a towel so it can't get wet. Uh, muttering to herself about, "Oh, I don't know if this soap will smell good. Maybe we'll do this one, and it'll be better, and it won't offend anybody. And then we'll get you these sets of collars that'll go all the way around you, and it'll be very pretty." And oh, and she'd been begging all week to wear a dress instead of like a dress uniform, which no one is even sure if she got the okay for that, but she has the dress now. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do about it? Um, it is sparkly blue, and she's been admiring it for forever because it matches with Clea very well. Everyone will love the fact that I like to match with you, and now we'll both look like the sky, and it'll be so pretty, and everyone will comment on it. I hope they remember my name. And uh,
Oh no. Mish, I just put a caption link for you because during the
I
shuffle
see
of
it. I got
computers, yeah,
it.
I think you lost your caption.
I
So
was actually waiting for it to come back so I could get it.
yeah. There you go. And thank you, Chelsea, for mentioning that we couldn't see Misha's captions because I forgot. Yeah, I like the idea, and you can veto this if you think that it makes Harley look in a way that you don't like. But I kind of like the idea that the baths are not they're big enough for a dragon to be bathed in here, but they're not the typical place where the dragons are bathed. Because they're like so big. This is supposed to be like kind of the human bathhouse, and you've
Mhm,
brought your
mhm.
dragon in here.
I
So if
love
you're,
the idea that she's maybe forgotten that there is an entirely other place for them, but she's like,
yeah,
"We'll just bathe together. That way we both smell the same, and then I can make sure. And I gotta scrub you with this toothbrush. And open your mouth. I'll scrub your teeth too."
yeah, Clea seems a little grumpy about this, maybe partially because this is a little bit cramped and not the space that that they would be used to. Let me really quick just refresh my memory about things about blue dragons. Yeah, okay. I was checking to see if because some of the dragons I know are like smaller and can fit into small spaces, but there's not necessarily the case for Clea. So I think it is like a little bit cramped for her. And she's like a little bit grumpy. And you two have this like telepathic connection where you can be like communicating with each other. Um Also, Natalie, you can feel free to correct me if this goes against the against the lore of the game. But I think dragons can understand human speech, but obviously can't speak human speech. The way that they can communicate is like telepathically. And I also, again, correct me if I'm wrong, think that they can only telepathically communicate that way with their dragon rider specifically, and not with other humans.
That
Is
is
that correct?
correct. They
Okay.
can only talk to their dragon rider.
Very cool. And also, do you want to mention verbally what you just mentioned?
Yeah,
in chat?
I have the backer kit up in the corner, and I just saw we just got a backer that pushed us over 13,500. So if that was you, if you're in chat, thank you. If you're not in chat, we'll pretend that you're in chat and say thank you.
Yes, so cool. We've got some dragon breath going off in celebration.
Yeah,
Every
celebration
time,
dragon
every
breath.
time the dragon breath goes off, everyone in chat, I'm just deciding a new rule. You have to pretend your messages are on fire. So I'm deciding that.
Is very
um
good.
so you are yeah, immediately Milos is the pain. Um so so Harley, you're bathing Clea, and I think grumpily in your mind you can hear her saying saying what do you think the scent is that you've picked out actually, Harley, for both of you to be matching scents?
I'm trying to think of some really obnoxious scent. Maybe something that Harley wears all the time that Clea isn't crazy about. It
Yeah.
is probably something painfully earthy, like a sandalwood mixed with a berry scent, which you would
Yeah.
think in concept would smell very nice, but in person, this is literally the most obnoxious smell I've ever smelled in my whole life.
Yeah, so I think you hear this kind of grumpy voice in your head that is like, sandalwood. I don't like sandalwood. Can we have something a little bit maybe something more minty? I feel like that would be fitting us more.
The hilarity of that I as a person hate the smell of mint. So now that also applies to Harley.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. Every time we do mint, I get dizzy while we're flying. It's too strong. What if other people get sick at the party and I can't do that.
I just think it just fits with the whole ice thing, to have something a little minty and a little bit icy. So when you walk in the room, people immediately are like, oh, I feel cold. I don't know why.
Maybe for the next one. I'll compromise with you and let you pick mint for next time.
I'm going to remember that.
I know you will.
She kind of settles into kind of a resignation of you applying these oils and soaps and whatever else you have going on, preparing
We're
the
going to be
bath.
obnoxiously shiny, and unfortunately, the smell is probably still really bad.
Really,
Like,
it's
regardless
really
of what smell
strong.
she's picked.
I really like that. And that just leaves one more of our dragon riders to introduce. What is Electra doing to get ready today?
Yeah, Electra is absolutely not the kind of person to wake up at the crack of dawn. I wouldn't say that she sleeps all the way in, but like she takes it a little easier. Feel like she removes her sleep mask. She absolutely wears a sleep mask. She would be one of those people. And it spends a lot of her day like picking out outfits. She has a bunch of clothing, and kind of this, like, full length mirror to, like, actually look at the full outfit and, turn around, do the whole thing. She has to make sure that she's looking her best, normally. So this is no different, if not a little higher stakes because, it's a celebration, appearances, all of that. So yeah, there's probably a little bit of a montage going between, wanting to do maybe like a dress or maybe more of like a one piece like jumper kind of thing, or maybe like shirt and pants. Like not entirely sure what she wants to do yet. There's a lot of that. Lots of indecision. But other than figuring out outfits, she would probably be going to check on Blitz, her dragon, and making sure that she's looking her best and she's okay to probably make sure like she has her claws did and all of that too. Um, and yeah, like they probably look fine. Like she doesn't really ever like mess with things too much. Doesn't get her claws too dirty because she spends so much time in the sky.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and to kind of describe her a little bit,
Mhm.
Electra is a kind of average height, femme presenting person, with this long dark hair, um, that two strips of like bangs in the front are more of like this yellow, that's like lightning yellow. She has kind of these amber eyes that are like always, looking around, checking out surroundings, and kind of discerning whatever social landscape is kind of in front of her. Um, kind of see, there might be some adoring fans on her way to the dragon stables. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah.
Some adoring fans of the other like four people that you live with. Yeah, could be. Um, so yeah, you're getting ready for the morning. And Blitz, your dragon, I think is ooh, maybe having breakfast. So which is usually fish, because the holds that you all protect tithe, that's like their main tithe to the dragon, to the Warrenguard, in exchange for like protection and all of the the benefits, because it's a mutually beneficial relationship between the two. So I think Blitz is just kind of this is so cartoony, but I think like picking up fish just by like the tail and just like putting them in her mouth and like pulling it out, and then it's just like the bones left, and tossing the bones over the side of the island.
Amazing.
just
I love
just
that.
very very and like some of these fish are big, like tuna sized fish, because she's just
Yeah.
like this big dragon, so just kind of and then occasionally like very petitely like a very like smaller fish, so just eating it and doing this. And its nails are immaculate. Already seems like she is prepared for the day. And as you come over, just kind of like almost very like aloof towards you as you walk over, and it's just like doing her own thing, and kind of looks over at you, kind of like down, like kind of eyelids half closed, and it's just like, oh, you're finally up.
When it's kind of a later night, gotta make sure to get the beauty rest for the gala tonight. You ready?
Oh, I was born ready for this.
Naturally.
Um, and says, well, you look good. I think we're both gonna look good.
Thank
And
you.
yeah. So, do you know who's gonna be there?
I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone in Voda at least. I'm not sure if anyone from outside is going to be there, but
Is is Blast coming? Because she's kind of been a downer lately.
hell, I mean, can you blame her?
I mean, it's been a little while and she still won't talk to anybody.
Hmm. Well, I'll talk to the rest of the Warren Guard about it. I'm not really sure if Blast is going to be there or not.
Okay, I mean, maybe it would be best for her to stay behind and get some rest. I mean, I know you all can't talk to her, but the rest of us can, and she just doesn't want to.
Hmm. That is troubling. Yeah, I mean, do you think there's any way to get her to talk to you or
Um, I mean, I've tried kind of pushing her around. I've tried, trying to do some like play fighting. Um, the last time I saw her flying, I tried to like go and fly next to her and start a conversation, but she just didn't really seem into it.
I mean, thanks for telling me. I don't really know how to handle this kind of stuff. Um, never 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 lost a dragon. So
Yeah, I think when you say like never lost a dragon, she's like, well, yeah. But I'd rather you not say things like that so casually. Since I'm the dragon that in question.
that's fair. That's entirely fair.
Cool. So oh no, we lost Mish again. So while while we're waiting for him to come back, uh I do have some now that we've kind of know everyone's characters and that's like been established a little bit. The way that this game works is we start off with the writer play, which is what we're in right now. And part of writer play is you have different chapters that you're playing. And if anybody, is not already know, we are playing the chapter called High Society, where our dragon riders are going to a gala or a ball. So, with each chapter, there are some world building kind of questions that we all get to answer together. And for this chapter, now that we know everyone's characters and kind of know like what's going on today, what the setup is, we can decide some different things. So I'm just gonna go through the three questions, so we know like what we're doing, and then we can answer them. So our first question is, who are the elites of the hold? So who are the people who are like going to be main other people who are of honor who will be there, or maybe the person who's throwing the ball, that kind of situation. The second question is, what impressions do they have of the Warren Guard? So what do these elites think of you all? And then the final question is, where is the ball being held? So we do know from our session 0 that the kind of political organization of the hold is these like guild leaders, basically, that like all of these different guilds are kind of in charge of what happens and like the politics and things of Voda. So I would be inclined to think that one of the elites would be one of these guild leaders, but if you all have different ideas or anything like that, let me know. So what do we think? Who do we think is going to be there that's like the important person?
I think whoever the guild leaders consider like their main person would definitely be there. Like maybe they don't have a leader per se, but there's always that one person that talks more than everyone who
Yeah.
brings more ideas to the table than everyone else and seems to be
Yeah.
the one organizing all of it. So
Yeah.
somebody like that.
Yeah, I like that. I think then maybe Um, I think the main way that Voda makes money is through kind of tourism. Like people come here to see the waterfalls and to see all these rainbows. So I feel like it would make sense for like the person who is the loudest and kind of is not in charge in any like official way, but is loud and bossy.
The
Would
party
maybe
guy.
yeah, the party guy. Would maybe be whoever's kind of in charge. I'm almost thinking of like this isn't exactly a guild, but like almost like how like places have like a chamber of commerce and there's like a person in charge of that. I feel like that's the kind of vibe. So um maybe a guild of like hotels and
Mhm.
like places for people to stay and is like kind of that's the guy who is loud and often is like this is what we need to do and everything like that because that's I think the most immediately impacted like if you're talking about travelers whoever's in charge of
So,
like
like, he
organizing
runs a
hotels
bunch
for them.
of resorts and things like that?
Yeah, I think he would run some resorts, and then I think the other like places that he doesn't run, he kind of speaks on behalf of them. So he's kind of like goes around to all the different like bed and breakfasts and places like that, places even that he doesn't run, and present their um opinions and concerns and things like that. I think that works. We're using he him pronouns. I think that makes sense for a character who um is gonna maybe be a little loud and a little pushy. So not to
Fair.
draw any aspersions, but I have a guy in mind for this. What do we think his name is?
Reginald popped into my head.
Oh, I like Reginald.
I like Reginald. Um, cool.
And he's
And
not
what
cool being called Reggie.
he's not cool with being called Reggie. I like
But we
that a
do it
lot.
anyway.
Sometimes people do it and he does not like it. What do we think his look is? And just like, you know, a word or two or a phrase. What does he look like?
Monocle.
Monocle?
He kind of looks like the in the chat hot. Um,
Yeah, really rocking that monocle.
Hot and monocled.
have y'all seen Spy Family, the anime?
I haven't, but I know Melanie in chat has, so say the
So,
reference. You have at least one person.
like, he's not the dean character, but he's one of the teacher characters. But he's he's an older white-haired man, long beard and mustache, and he also does have a monocle.
Perfect. Yeah. Hottie with a monocle is what I'm gonna put.
This is very good.
Do I know how to spell monocle? I think so. So Reginald is, and if anyone thinks of a last name, Hot Monty. Oh no, that's such cursed, cursed phrase. Um, so Reginald, if anyone thinks of a last name, let me know. But for at least Reginald, we have to start with. He's probably throwing this event. He's kind of like he probably has the most he's the most wealthy out of the different guild leaders, and is throwing the event. If we want to come up with other elites as we go, we definitely can. I think starting with one is good, at least for now. What impression does Reginald have of the Warrenguard? I do
I think
have. Oh, go ahead.
I think he doesn't like us.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do have. Yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna say I do kind of
Troublemaker.
have a pitch for this.
Uh-huh.
We
I
call
think
him
he,
Reggie.
I think he doesn't like you. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're all cool with him not liking you, I think we can get
Yeah.
into more of the details of why he doesn't like you as you
Uh-huh.
get to the gala. But if you're all cool with Reggie
Yeah.
not liking you, so then our last question is, where's the ball being held?
I
At
think
one
there's
of Reggie's resorts.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
right at the
something with a
base
nice view.
of the rising river.
Cool.
Hmm.
Like it's just
Very
this
cool.
gorgeous resort, which is like a beautiful ballroom. Yeah.
I really like
I
that.
also want to say that Harley probably has no idea that when everyone is mentioning Reggie at the warrant, because it seems like a joke that everybody would have,
Yeah.
is to just call him Reggie. Harley has
Mhm.
no idea that this is a nickname that he hates.
Oh
Uh-huh.
no!
Oh no!
So
So he's
everyone
just
just
very
remember
good.
that. Everyone just remember
Very
that for
good.
later.
So that actually goes along with something. So I have a move that I get for the fact that we're using this chapter, which I'm sure will come up. But also, you all get the weak move of commit a faux pas. So if you call Reginald Reggie, for example, you actually do get a token for that. So,
Yeah.
so keep that in mind. Cool. I feel like I kind of know, like, we're in the vibe. I think one more thing I'll add to our little world buildingness is Reginald has, on multiple occasions, tried to have an addition built on to his resort where the uprise, like the reverse waterfall, is like the center of it basically, and keeps getting
Uh-huh.
turned down because people are like, that's a resource for the whole hold. And
Uh-huh.
so, like, you can't do this. But probably every year or so, he's like, I have a great idea that's gonna bring people in, of like almost like maybe like a water park or something. And people are like, one, extremely dangerous. Two, you don't own the reverse waterfall. Um, so, and that gives you more like a reason why maybe you all are not the biggest fan of Reggie, other than his overall vibe. um yeah, so we are now solidly in rider play. So I will throw it all to you as the I think we'll go ahead to the beginning of the gala. And it is in this gorgeous resort. It's very like hang on one second. I don't know why. Oh, I think I think I have the command wrong. There we go. um uh this gorgeous resort, like, it's very like, things are gilded, there's this marble flooring in this ballroom, and just like completely ostentatiously gorgeous, which your town is not that big, so I think a lot of other places in Voda are like more kind of like I said, like bed and breakfasty or a little more quaint. But all of Reginald's spas and locations and things like that are this very like ostentatious thing. And luckily this is in the ballroom because your dragons can fit and come in here. So there's like this big door that's like opened up for all of you to be able to come in. Um and I guess I will ask you all before we get to, the mingling with the people at the gala. Do you think that Blast is here?
I think so. I think Blaze kind of nudged Blast into coming.
Okay.
Blaze as sort of the as Dorothea's dragon is also like kind of in charge of the dragons, I think,
Yeah,
and has made Blast come.
perfect. Yeah. And Silent Infinity just donated to the PCRF. And I will say, I don't think I initially said this, but I think it makes sense for the donations to the PCRF to have the same outcome for you all.
Uh-huh.
So you will all get a token. But I will also add a complication. Natalie, unfortunately, your donation, I'm not going to use that to give you all stuff because
That's fine.
because I've had shout out to Dreamy Etude, who when she came on stream started doing donations to give herself bonuses, and I had to say no, you can't do that anymore. So thank you so much, Silent Infinity, for the donation to the PCRF. That's great. So yeah, not now I really fucked myself because almost all your dragons have such similar names. Blast
Uh-huh.
is this
Oops.
big orange dragon, who, as has kind of been alluded to, doesn't have a rider anymore. And so is here, but extremely under duress, and is very mopey, and also I think a little bit not in a like neglected way, but is a little unkempt. So there's like some fish bones in her like in her teeth when she opens her mouth.
Yo,
She's like
dirty
she
baby.
hasn't been scrubbed. Not because no one has tried. I'm sure multiple of you, including Pepper, have probably tried to tend to her, and she just doesn't really want to have anything to do with it. So she's a little dull looking. She's probably a little bit smelly. She has that like that lizard stink that
Oh
some
no.
kind of
Oh God,
animals
that's
get.
so
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
How could you?
Sorry. So yeah, and when you're near her, it's like this very like, yeah, not a good smell. But what do the rest of you look like as you are riding the ball?
What did Pepper put Dorothea in?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I like the idea that okay, I will ask, what color do you think, this doesn't have to be what Dorothea thinks, but what color
Uh-huh.
do you think that Dorothea would look good in?
Uh, I think Dorothea wears a lot of black. Like this is like
Okay.
she is very like color black with like a few red pops because dressing to your dragon is like a
Ooh,
thing.
yeah.
Um,
I think you're in not quite like a tux situation, but
uh-huh.
definitely something reminiscent, something tux like.
Okay.
With these commendations and like pins and things like that. Maybe
Mhm.
I like the idea that you probably haven't worn it in a while. Maybe you got this
Right.
for some kind of maybe is this something that you would have worn when you got married?
Yes, this is my
Okay.
wedding suit. Yes.
This is your wedding suit. Um, so it looks really nice. It's not like it looks bad. Pepper wouldn't put you in something bad, but it is like you
Uh-huh.
haven't worn it maybe since then, or
Mhm.
maybe a couple of times on occasion since then. Pepper is wearing a very I'm trying to think of the word for this. I don't know why I'm trying to, because I already wrote this down. She's wearing a tight black dress with a plunging neckline and like a high slit that just really shows off her curves. Her necklace that she's wearing, you would know she pretty much always wears this necklace. She doesn't really take it off. Has a purple scale
Mhm.
from her dragon sovereign. And it's very on like display right now because of the plunging neckline, but she wears this pretty much all the time.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so when you two come in together, you look like you're like such a hot couple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like you're
Right
both in
in
black.
on Blaze, and then Dorothea
Yeah.
helps Blaze get or helps Pepper get down off of Blaze his back
Yeah.
and kisses Pepper on the hand. And I think I'm gonna actually let my age get to me, and as I help Pepper down, I think like struggles a little bit. Like is just
Mhm.
not as strong as Dorothea as she used to be.
Mhm.
Um, uh, but I think Pepper like immediately compensates and like looks beautifully graceful. But I think Dorothea is a little embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah. Um I think yeah, definitely Pepper notices that it happens and like you said
Uh-huh.
like accommodates for it.
Mhm.
And probably ooh, the only other person who notices? Gotta be Reginald. Gotta be
Uh-huh.
Reginald notices as you're getting off of the dragon. Just the slightest,
Mhm.
maybe almost like, um, the slightest, like, wince of pain on
Uh-huh.
Dorothea. Like, when you step just wrong a little bit and you're like, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
was not good.
Yeah.
And Reginald notices it, and you notice Reginald noticing it.
Mhm.
Um, but what about the other two of you? What are your entrances
Is there a reaction that Reginald makes, or does he just clock it and put it on his mental piece of paper?
like? Just clocks and puts it on his mental piece of paper. It's like just eye
Okay.
contact basically, and maybe like a polite smile, but
Mhm.
a mean polite smile. You know the type.
I do know the type, and that's almost why I asked. Because if Electra saw that, she's going to make an absolute show of her entrance. Like, is gonna
Yeah.
do the whole like, entering in on Blitz. She is wearing. She decided on doing a dress shirt and pants. So she has almost like this kind of like dark with, yellow accents, like, almost like a poet shirt, if that makes sense,
Yeah, yeah.
with, these high-waisted pants. It's very Hamlet coded now that I think about this. It's very Hamlet coded.
Love that.
Um, and she had these, tall boots, with these, yellow, lightning bolts on the sides. Um and yeah, she the way that she dismounts, Blitz, is absolutely a show of it. Like, probably, like, does, like, maybe a roller flip or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, very, very, I don't think I, mentioned, her playbook. She's the ace,
Oh, yeah.
archetype. And so, yeah, for those of you in chat that don't know, she's the ace. Um and yeah, that's she absolutely makes a show of it, and makes sure that Reginald sees that. It's kind of like a, "Hey, no, we're serious. Don't
Yeah.
don't mess around with us."
I think Blitz even like with her long nails, like as she comes in, it doesn't look bad by any means, but on the marble, like does comes in so fast because that is the yellow dragons are so fast. Comes in so fast and like almost there's like a little bit of like a skid across the marble, like when a dog is running too fast and then hits
Yeah,
like so you can hear like the clack of her claws on the marble as she comes in and kind of slides a
little
little bit.
tippy tappies.
But yeah, her little tippy tappies. Um, but it does look cool. It does look very cool. And yeah, Blitz is a yellow dragon. Critical K. What is Harley's entrance?
Harley has imagined this immaculately beautiful entrance with Clea breathing a little bit of ice out so it makes like this weird fog thing so they can come in and look all beautiful. On the flight down, Harley has begged Clea to please don't do that. Everything we planned, please don't do that. I
Oh
just
no.
realized I can't handle the idea of anyone seeing me actually. I think I'm going to cry.
Oh
Um,
no.
and so she's just
uh
she doesn't want to make a scene of it, but like on the whole way down, like Clay, that whole thing that we were talking about that I thought was going to be really cool. Like, what if I step on a piece of ice and I don't mean to, and I break my other ankle, and I don't want to do that right there at this party, and I don't want Reggie to think I'm not cool because I really want to thank him for holding this party and stuff. And let's just walk in like normal, like normal and not weird and not drawing too much attention, even though I was really concerned about drawing a lot of attention earlier this
uh
morning,
one of
and that I
the
don't explode.
Yeah, one of the Blue Dragon's aspects is I can focus too much on one problem and miss the bigger picture. So I think as soon as you mention your ankles, that's all Clea can focus on is protecting your ankles and like protecting your fragile human bones. And so as soon as you mention that, she's like, "Oh, oh yeah, we'll completely call that off. We'll completely call that off. I'll enter. What
Awesome,
do you think
awesome.
of like a stately, more of like a stately entrance?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll look really cool and like not do anything too terribly crazy and not slip and break my ankle or flash my entire butt to everybody or anything like that. Yeah, we could do that. Way better idea.
um
Because instead of wearing pants like it seems the other two dragon riders have opted to do, she's again in a dress. It is not
Yeah.
floor length. It is kind of one of those elegant Gotholita style dresses,
Yeah, very
and
cool.
it's blue and white and very icicle looking, poofed out, goes down to about her knees and poofs out pretty well. She's probably got like two or three petticoats underneath it. So if she were to slip or do anything that she shouldn't do in this dress, chances are the petticoats go up and her butt gets shown to everybody,
Oh
and she
no.
cannot handle that.
I think if you haven't already, I think you should take a token because this feels like getting overwhelmed, which is one of your weak moves. So I think if you haven't already,
Cool.
I would give yourself a token for that. And your entrance, I think that if this is the conversation that you had with Clay beforehand, um, she comes in so slowly. I think it's the last of the three of you to enter, and she is just like almost like people are like, is what's happening right now? Because she's like almost moving in like slow motion, like so slowly. And I actually think that she kind of like cranes her neck around. Instead of you dismounting from her, she's gonna take the back of your dress like a cat carrying a kitten and just lift you off of her back and onto the ground like so gently as your entrance to this
And
gala.
Harley is surprisingly not elegant as this happens. She just kind of hangs there like, I don't want to die.
And just you're deposited so carefully on the ground. um, yeah, people are definitely talking about this. You probably know a lot of people here. The hold is not super, it's not a big hold, which is why there's just three of you as dragon riders protecting it because it's not a huge place. And I will throw it over to you all now. You can really just whatever you want to do, you can do. I'll stop
Uh,
prompting you with things.
Dorothea is gonna go marching up to Harley,
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm gonna. What was that? We have a
I,
moment to impress these riders. Maybe earn us an extra rider for the Warren, and you decide to what? Make a show of how you need help.
I just didn't want. So I had this whole thing, and she's now trying not to cry. So I just had this whole thing that we were originally going to do, and then I realized that would be like too showy, and I could slip and fall, and that would look really stupid. And then I told Clea maybe we shouldn't do that in case I broke my other ankle, and it makes her really, really protective of me. And that's all. I just didn't want to like slip and make myself look really bad for being at my first one of these.
Tonight is important. Don't mess this up. And I'm gonna be too harsh on someone meaning well, uh, and then turn and be like, Reginald.
Yeah. I think even when you turn, Reginald is like already closer to you than you would think, as if he was
Uh huh.
also like coming over to talk to you, and says, Dorothea, so good to see you, and you look dashing, I must say.
It's it's all thanks to Pepper, of course.
You always say things like that, but the clothing makes the well, the I was gonna say the clothing makes the man. I guess that's not right. It would be let's say the woman makes the clothing in this instance.
Well, how is business?
Well, that's actually something that I wanted to talk to you about because all right. So there's no easy way to say this, Dorothea. And I think he kind of like gestures so that like the other two dragon riders can like that you can be a part of this conversation if you'd like. He's like speaking a little bit louder. It's not like a private thing. And he says, um this is actually there's no easy way to say this, but I wanted to bring this up with all of you. The fishing has been very poor, especially in the lakes recently. I'm sure you've noticed that the tides have been a little lesser than usual. And because of this, um, well, the thing is that I can't help but notice that you have a dragon who isn't contributing, shall we say. And so with the fishing being rather meager, I was thinking maybe we could discuss some options of um some options for what to do with your extra dragon, whether that's maybe relocating her to another warren that's, has a little more resources than we do. Um, just wanted to broach the subject.
Can
I'm. Oh, go ahead.
so I have tokens and whatever, and one of my strong moves is to win someone over with my positivity. I was actually looking
Yeah.
at the last two on my list, which is win someone over with my positivity and also follow an order perfectly, as I was just given the order to not ruin this night.
Yeah.
Um, so I would like to win him over with my bright, brilliant, fresh face, uh, adorable positivity.
Yeah. um yeah, and what are you saying as you're looking so like fresh faced and adorable?
Um, I'm going to take his hand because, on the one hand, I understand that this is um, a guy with a lot of resources. He's well known. Obviously, he has a nickname in our warren, and also knowing that that dragon, even if she's depressed, even if they're depressed, this is their home more than anything.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, I know I was going to try and call him Reggie earlier, but I just heard Dorothea call him Reginald, so I have to make that switch.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, Mr. Reginald, it's so kind of you to worry about one of our dragons, and I know she's been looking a little more dour, a little sadder recently, and I'm actually the dragon rider who came in to take the place of her rider, and I just know, when I left my home and when I had to relearn how to fit in with a new space, with new families, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And for them, it would be even harder. And this is their home. And more than anything, the best thing we could do, both as a Warren and as people uh, who look towards the Warren for protection and to give our home a good name, there's nothing more important than being able to support someone who's lost something so dear to them. In fact, being able to support her even more would just be the kindest thing anybody could do for us.
Um, yeah, and because you're spending a token to do the strong move of win someone over with your positivity, I think at first, what do you think? Because Natalie, you were about to say something as Dorothea, so I'm
Mhm.
imagining that Dorothea was also about to say something. What is Dorothea's demeanor and expression like upon hearing this before Harley starts to say something?
Yeah, Dorothea was gonna say like, "Well, if you want to tell a dragon to leave, you can tell him." Uh,
Yeah.
uh, but I would like to, as Harley starts speaking, spend a token to let someone earn my respect.
Ooh, very
As
good.
Harley like really impresses Dorothea, uh, with her answer. And I
Yeah.
think like you see Dorothea like giving you like a where did this come from? Like
Yeah. Also, Natalie, you do get just another token because Dreamy
oh, excellent.
contributed $5 to the
Thank you,
PCRF.
Dreamy.
So you get a token for that. Oh, actually no, you all get tokens. I forgot what my own system is. I forgot it's
Amazing.
$2 for one person. So you all get tokens. Um uh so yeah, I think as Harley is speaking, Reginald gets like a little bit blustery, like and it's kind of like, oh well, I didn't mean, in the way, of course, if this dragon needs support, then of course we're happy to support them. I just was trying to think of something we do because the fish supply is really quite low. It's inexplicably, I mean, just especially in the lakes, we just have not been able to, from what I'm hearing from the, of course I don't get myself involved with that, but the people who are there, and I appreciate what you have to say as a new dragon rider, a new person in our community. Thank you very much for that. but we just have to come up with some kind of solution because I don't think that we're going to be able to catch enough fish to sustain all 4 of your dragons.
Okay, so how do you think we can help? This is a regular move. I can always do these. Focus on something you can control.
Yeah. I think he says, well, I don't even know how you would do this. I think it falls outside the purview of a typical dragon rider's duties. But if you can find out why the fish population is going down so much, I suppose that would help. I don't think it's overfishing. Usually, the fishing guild is very on top of that sort of thing and keeping things sustainable. So I don't think it's because of us. I think something else is going on.
I would also like to use one of my regular moves that I can always do since I've already brought my energy up as high as it's going to get, and just get excited. Harley
Yeah.
loves the idea of getting to solve this puzzle and getting to help the dragons because she's been training. One of the most important things she could do is take care of the dragons, and she's like, uh, she's not meaning to make a show of it, and she's not usually this loud, but she's already like embarrassed herself in front of Dorothea, which she really didn't want to do. So,
Yeah.
in perhaps a little too excited, like, of course, Mr. Reginald, we'd love to try and solve this problem and keep our home safe. And thank you so much for coming to us and asking for our help. We'd love nothing more than to help and make sure that everyone is still fed and that all the dragons are happy. And so kind of you to be considerate of them.
Yeah,
Any other
I
character I
think
would be playing, this would be the rudest thing she'd ever said. But for Harley, this is 110% genuine.
Oh,
She's not
uh
being snide or anything. She doesn't even realize that Reginald was trying to be mean
yeah.
at all. She's just so
I
excited
love
to
that.
help.
Love Harley. We also just got a $15 donation to the PCRF, so you all get another token, but I get to do something else bad.
a
So
secret thing
Oh,
that will help us later.
a secret thing that will
Maybe.
hurt you later, maybe a little bit. I think Harley, in response to kind of your interest and excitement about this, Reginald calls over the guild leader who's in charge of the fishing, which doesn't really make money for the hold because they don't eat fish. They all like none of the people in the hold eat meat at all. They send all of their fishing up to your dragons, basically. But it's still in one of the guilds because it's like an important resource, I guess. Commerce is not the right word. So the head of the fishing guild kind of comes over to you, Harley, and I think starts telling Harley and anybody else who would be like a part of the conversation kind of the breakdown of like, it's very, very like, it's boring, pretty much, of like, in this year we had this many. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with these kinds of things where it's like tracing the
Mhm.
population of
Yep,
like the
give us the
different
data
fish.
points.
Yeah,
Yep.
like all these data points of like last year we had this many of this type of fish in this pond or in this lake and from the river and stuff. And what you're seeing is that the riverfish population seems pretty much the same. It's not super different. But those are not I guess a little bit harder to catch because of like, and also some of the some of the river fish your dragons just catch themselves and eat because the river goes up to your hold. But the lake fish, especially in the past like few months, there's been a really significant decrease of population to them that is not explained by anything. And I think you can also tell like that the guild leader for the fishing, like their fishing practices have not changed. This doesn't seem like a human inflicted thing of like overfishing or something like that. So so Reginald and this other guild leader are kind of going over all these things. Something might distract Electra. That's up to you. But as this conversation is happening, you see someone that you know that you would probably not expect to see here. Um, which is Amelia, your childhood sweetheart, who is not from Voda, is from someplace completely different, and
Okay.
kind of far from here. Um, so what I guess the first question I'll ask is, have you told Amelia about this? Like
I'm sorry, could you
about this
repeat
event?
just the last bit of that?
Yes, yes, yes. Have you told Amelia about this event?
Oh, yeah, with the
Like, have you been like in
um,
contact with her?
I mean, I think there there might be an implication of that, just because, Amelia knows where Electra is, and there's
Mhm.
this event happening there, so, like, I think both of them probably put the dots together without them necessarily telling each other.
Okay,
It's
cool.
just like, "Oh, she's actually here, though. Oh," like, there's still, like, that kind of, like, that stomach drop moment of, like, "Oh, she's here in person. Oh my god, okay, I gotta keep it cool, I gotta keep it cool, I gotta
Yeah.
keep it cool." It's like, I think there's just that, like, one, like, falter of, like, um, recognition, like, seeing her in the doorway, but,
Mhm.
Electra kind of, like, pushes that down, and I will say she probably bottles her emotions. I'm gonna weak move that.
Yeah. Um,
Um
so yeah, Amelia is here. She's short, she has tan skin, a round, freckled face. She has light brown hair that's kind of sun bleached at the roots. And she's wearing this like kind of dark green gown that's like a little toga-esque. Like it kind of like is on one shoulder and kind of swoops down off of the other side. Um, and I will say she is wearing a keepsake that you gave her, Electra, but I will let you decide what the keepsake is that she's wearing.
Oh, that's a really good question. I think to kind of keep in the fashion style of like kind of this toga-like theme, I think she has like some sort of like bracelet or like bangle
Oh yeah,
on her wrist
cute,
that Electra probably gave her.
very cute. So yeah, you see her and just don't do anything apparently. Just bottle it up.
It's like it freezes. Like it's not fight, it's just freezes.
Yeah.
Trying to
Um.
keep it cool.
Yeah. Do the other two of you think that you notice that all of a sudden Electra just is in this conversation but completely freezes up?
I think Dorothea definitely does. I think she kind of traces Electra's eyes, and I think it hasn't gotten past Dorothea that Electra sends way more letters than even Harley. Um, and Dorothea like puts it together and just winks at Pepper and kind of gestures like, hey.
Yeah, I think Pepper goes like also kind of like sees like what you're connecting and like nods a little bit, and does like a little smile and is looking at Electra with like um yeah, that it's not like condescension, but it's like kind of that friendly like I've been there before, like you this young
Look, the baby
person.
gays don't know what to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And Amelia also I think has like come in, obviously like doesn't really know anybody here. She's not from this hold. And so it's just kind of like doing the thing where she's kind of like adjusting her dress and like kind of looking around a little bit nervously. I think sees you and then like you don't come over to talk to her right away, and so then she just kind of like goes back to looking around and kind of like fiddling with the bracelet, like looks a little bit nervous to be here.
Oh.
I think I think like it just takes a little bit for Electra to like kind of get over that. It's like once you know eh, once whatever ramble from the discussion of missing fish wraps up, she'll make her way over to Amelia. She's not gonna like actively avoid
Just
her
like
or
freeze
anything.
her out. When you go over, her eyes light up, and she's like, "Electra, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. There was a big sinkhole on the road to get here, and so we had to go around it, and it was this whole thing. But I made it, and I'm here. And oh my gosh, you look so good."
You look really good as well. It's good to see you.
She like gets a little bit flushed when you say that, and is like, Um, so a gala in your honor. I hope it's not weird that I came. You didn't invite me, but you didn't say I couldn't come, and I thought maybe it would be a fun surprise, but I don't know, surprises aren't always fun, so
Oh, I mean, it's definitely surprising. It's a good one. It's a good one. Um, but you mentioned a sinkhole. There was a sinkhole in the road. Is I know the roads here aren't great, and that's part of why I, didn't explicitly say, "Hey, you should be here." I know it can be a little weird.
yeah, the caravan that I was in, the person with the who was leading it said that there's been a lot of them around here, maybe because of all the water. I don't really know. He didn't seem that concerned about it, so I think it's okay. He said they've been happening more often lately.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're okay. I really hate for something to happen, like, and I wouldn't even have known because this was a surprise.
I didn't even think
And
about that. Yeah. Well, I
oh,
guess other people would have, my family, I told them I was coming, so I wouldn't have just
okay,
disappeared.
good. Okay, good, good. I don't want that.
I think as you're talking, the music starts to play for the ball, like the first dance, and I think Pepper, kind of like, maybe kind of puts her arm around Dorothea to be like, "Oh, we should dance," but then also on the way to the floor, kind of nudges Electra and Amelia, and is like, Are you two gonna be dancing with us?"
It's like I think there's another momentary freeze. Um, and I mean, Electra will probably just kind of look to Amelia as like, "Do you want to dance?" Like, kind of that a nonverbal question, I guess.
Yeah. I think Amelia just kind of like extends a hand to you a little timidly to be like, "Oh yeah, that like sounds kind of fun." Um, yeah, and is like willing to go on the dance floor with you.
Of course,
Um,
Electra is a fantastic dancer. It's no shock to anybody.
yeah. I think the first song is there's probably been music playing that's kind of more environmental, just kind of like, oh, having some like orchestra, like a small orchestra playing, or not like a chamber orchestra. Is that the right thing when it's just a few of them? That have been playing music, but like this is the first like dance song. And I think it is not overly romantic. It's one of those dances that is more like um it's not exactly like a line dance or a square dance, but it's something kind of akin to that, where it's like people are dancing together who are like friends. There's like groups that are like kind of all dancing together. um is um is Harley going to dance?
Harley doesn't know how to dance. She has no clue in her entire brain, in her entire adorable little brain. She will try if someone approaches her, but for the most part, she's kind of scooted herself away from the fish talk and is like, "Yes, I will definitely keep that in mind. It is a big goal now," and is like, food buffet tables, and is
Yeah.
standing over there as awkwardly as she can, being like, I didn't consider the dancing part of this. Ugh.
Yeah, there's so many like breads and cheeses and little oh, I can't think of the right, oh, like crudité, like lots of vegetables and dips and things like that. And drinks, and like just, this is a ball and a gala, so there's lots of like really delicious food here. It is all vegetarian. And you kind of are
I would
let
like
yourself into it.
to, since I've done this because my two other partners have gone off to dance and are clearly at least moderately comfortable with the idea. Um, I don't know which one it would fall under more, but maybe me walking to the table versus walking to the dance floor with
Hmm.
someone uh, maybe shows either that I am painfully naive or that I am easily overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah, 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 for, like, a weak move, is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
instead of opting to be brave or confident or anything, I kind of spiritually stumble again and opt to go for food while everyone else has opted to go dance.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, look, Natalie, it looks like you're thinking of saying something. Is
Yeah, I
is Dorothy
think
gonna do that?
um I think the way Dorothea and Pepper normally dance is Dorothea kind of acts like a I will just like be something for you to dance around,
Yeah.
basically. Um,
I love that.
very that sort of lead. But I think as we get in close, uh, Dorothea's gonna lean into Pepper and say, "You should ask Harley to dance."
Oh yeah, I think Pepper kind of looks over and sees Harley, and like gives you a little kiss on the cheek, and kind of like almost like this is my personal nightmare, but like when someone kind of dances over to you and is like, "Come on, get on the dance floor." So Pepper like kind of dances over to you, Harley, and is like, "Aren't you gonna dance? This ball's in your honor."
Legitimately trying not to shiver this plate of food out of her hands, but like, cause I hadn't had a chance to mention it before, but we talked about it in our session 0 about
Mhm.
Harley having crushes on everybody else, and that includes Pepper.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure. Oh, this is you coming up and asking me to come dance, isn't it?
Yes! Yes, come dance! You can just stand next to Dorothea if you want, and I could just dance around both of you.
Oh, can I dance with you around Dorothea?
Of
Would that be
course!
weird?
No, you could there's nothing weird in dancing, you just move your body how the music makes you wanna move.
uh, cool. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, so Pepper, like, kind of grooves back over to Dorothea, accompanied by Harley. What is Harley's dancing like?
It starts out painfully stiff. Like she's scared out of her mind. One, this is Pepper and Dorothea. Sweet Jesus. Oh my god. I broke my ankle trying to mimic one of them. Um, it's fine. But eventually, dancing back behind Pepper and seeing how comfortable she is and seeing that Dorothea is no longer like staring her down, she starts to warm up a little bit more to the idea and is uh, genuinely starting to enjoy herself and letting herself dance to the rhythm of the music.
Um, yeah, it's this like nice moment where you're like kind of getting into the groove of things. All of you are dancing. Electra and Amelia are dancing, and I think Amelia at least is like kind of like every time there's like a part in the dance where it would like make sense to like touch hands to each other, Amelia kind of like hesitates a little bit to touch Electra's hand.
Oh, I love
And
it.
yeah, and you're all on the dance floor. There are people who are like, on the side who are like clapping for like whenever like Pepper does like a really cool move.
Mhm.
Um, but unfortunately, this doesn't last as long as you'd like it to. There are a few dance numbers, everyone's kind of getting into the groove. And that is when the oracle bell begins to sound. As there is something that the oracles have known, have foretold that is coming, and this is kind of the warning bell for all of you as these someplace in the hold there is this bell tower that rings, and normally you would be up in your warren while this is happening, but you're actually down in the hold as you hear the bells. And what is all of your immediate reactions as you hear them?
Dorothea, like, immediately, it's like a switch flips and starts barking orders like, Electra, get in the air, see what it is. Harley, um, use Clea's vision, see if you can find anything. Make sure that it's not coming from far away. Electra, get high. We're losing the vision of height. Uh, everyone move.
Yeah,
Uh,
Electra's is very the oh man. Okay.
Harley also switches, and though it's not going to hit her as immediately, but she turns and, like, in the midst of running to Clea, also kicks off her heels because she knows the kind that she got would do her no good. They'll crush her toes while she's trying to
Yeah.
fly, and flings them off. They might hit somebody. Who knows?
They
And
go right past Reginald's head.
um, races up to Clea to be like, something's going on. We need you to be able to see whatever it is we need to see so that we could take care of this danger as quickly as possible. And
You
it's not
can
until she's like climbing onto Clea's back that there's a moment in the back of her head that goes, oh shit, I've never actually done this before outside of training. I hope I don't explode.
you can feel coming from Clea this excitement and like this energy like a coil that is about to spring as Clea is like so ready for this and so excited. And unlike you, you're like nervous and like kind of anxious about this. Clea does not feel that anxiety, is just like I'm ready to go. I think Electra, you go to like jump on to Blitz, who is already Blitz is the fastest. Blitz is like almost like already skittering out this big open doorway, and you have to
Yeah, and
like
I just catch up and jump right on.
yeah,
It's like I
jump
already
on.
know. This is what she does.
And I think Blaze as Dorothea is like, saying orders and things like that, um Blaze, you can tell that he's communicating with Blast, but are not party to whatever conversation is happening between the two of them. Blast, this orange dragon, kind of hunkers down and like kind of goes off to the side, being without a rider. Looks like Blaze has said like you need to stay here. Also, Blaze kind of like looking around. The rest of the people at the gala, there is this moment at first where everyone just stops and like doesn't know what to do. And then people start like, and also they don't know what's going on. They don't know what the nature of this danger is. So people kind of start scattering and like going to their loved ones, and like going, like people are going to like try to find out what exactly is going on and get to a safe location. Electra, you immediately take to the sky and fly up into the air. And you immediately see what is happening right now because of your vantage point. As you kind of fly around to just see like, okay, what's going on? You can see that the biggest of the gemstone lakes, Lake Opal, is there's a huge whirlpool that is opened up in the center of Lake Opal, and the water is circling around and being drained from this largest lake in the collection of lakes. Um, and because we got a tip, something even worse, which is you can see not only is the water circling around this whirlpool, but there's a fishing boat with people in it that is being
No.
sucked into this whirlpool. They're on the outer edge of it. This is, the oracle bells rang. You got right up into the air, but you can see that there are people who are in danger, like imminent danger from this whirlpool. And what better time than that to take a break?
Ah.
So we are going to take a 15-minute break. While we're on break, you can go back the backer kit for this game so that you can play it. You can get a drink, get a snack, all of those other great things. And we'll be back, like I said, in about 15 minutes with the rest of our one-shot of Warrenguard. We'll see you all in a little bit. Bye. Felicitations, adventurers. Welcome to the second half of our one-shot of Warrenguard. And we're actually going to jump like really right back into things because unfortunately Mish is having some computer issues, which I'm sure people have noticed. So he is going to have to peace out a little bit early, but we are going to have a really quick scene of an explanation for why Harley, like kind of what's going on with Harley and how that's going to be resolved. So I will actually throw it over to you, Mish, right away. We know Electra's up in the air. We can say like if you want to have Harley also be up in the air and see what's going on or anything like that. And what is Harley doing in this first moment where you're in your first fight, like actual fight with your new Warrenguard? The shit's hitting the fan. What is Harley doing?
So Harley knows first and foremost that Clea has keenest senses and can see things way better than she can, and that's best taken care of from the sky. And if there are any monsters up there, any monsters in and around, they won't really be able to see Clea because that's her whole shtick. So after Dorothea has given her orders and she's run over to Clea to get ready to go, she climbs up onto Clea and is like, let's get up as high as Electra and their dragon so we can see a little bit better. Uh, and they go to take off. They come out of the resort, and Clea, who's very eager, like you said before, has no anxiety about it, um, goes to take off and is used to Harley wearing her regular uniform
Oh no.
whenever they take off. Tonight, however, Harley was very, very adamant about wearing a pretty, flowy, fluffy dress, which honestly does not make for good riding. So as they take off into the sky, they brush past some trees, which usually would just splinter off from the jackets and the pants that they would usually wear. But this time, because of all the lace and the frills in the dress, it she's scratched and she's caught by the bow on the back of her dress and dragged off of Clea. It is mortifying for both of them. Uh, Harley begins to immediately have Harley immediately begins to have PTSD style flashbacks of having tried to do the flip with Electra and messing up again and breaking her ankle, the thing that she was so afraid was going to happen tonight. And she is grabbed by one of these big branches on the trees and flung down. Thankfully, it's not a super far fall, but it is terrible. It is embarrassing. There are people in danger. There are people freaked out in the resort, and she can't hear any of the yelling. All she could see is Clea's back as she's turning around to realize she's lost her rider again. This is so dumb. We're replacing a rider and a dragon who lost each other, and yet here we are, still making these stupid mistakes. And then the ground hits her, and for a moment, she blacks out for a second because you get hit that hard, you knock all the air out of your body, but she comes back to pretty quickly as Clea lands beside her and is coughing, gasping for air, trying to get back up so she can get back on her dragon.
And I think Dorothea and Blaze land like quickly right next to Clea. And Dorothea just stares you down and like you can tell is reading you and then says, "You're not ready for this. Go back to the Warren."
Harley wants to fight back and wants to say something else, anything, but she's already made a terrible show of herself at the party, and an even worse show of herself just now. She climbs back onto Clea and very quietly, "Yes, ma'am."
And then Dorothea takes off to go try and save the boat, which she's lost precious seconds.
Ah. And
I'm
unfortunately,
sad.
Mies. This just means we need to
Okay,
do
we're
another
just
one
crying.
shot.
It's fine.
This
Yeah,
just
Uh-huh.
means we'll do
exactly.
another
We were
one
saying
shot.
this.
Yeah, we need to follow up on this. This might be a 2-shot
Yeah,
if
I'm gonna have to come back
if
with
Taylor will let
a
us.
get these computers working right
Uh-huh.
and not
Figure
being a
out what's
mess with
going
me.
on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But thank you, Mish, so much for being here. Totally understandable that you need to go. So actually, really quick before you go, normally I would have you do this at the end of the stream, but do you just really quick want to shout out like other places people can find you, that kind of thing?
You can find me at my website, which I believe is showing right now, misharts.card.co. I do voice acting. I'm on Jar of Rebuke. I'm on Hardboiled Detective. I also do a lot of comics and visual novel dubbing. And I'd love to come back and try and make up for Harley being a sad little baby.
Oh no. Our poor little
I'm
fish face.
smiling because this is juicy, but I do feel like so bad as like
Yeah.
a person. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
thank y'all
Mish,
again.
yeah, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see y'all
Yeah.
next time.
See ya.
Aw.
So the other two of you, Dorothea, how are you feeling as you have just kind of dispatched 1/3 of your Warrenguard to leave when there's this situation happening?
Honestly, like I think Dorothea is kind of breathing a sigh of relief. Like she's like, okay, Harley's gonna be safe this time. Like now I just have to look out for Elektra.
Haha,
No.
easier said than done.
No,
Huh?
surely no harm will come of that.
No,
Surely
surely not.
Electra will be fine. um, and I think Blaze in your mind, Blaze has been like talking to like other dragons and stuff like that, has not
Uh-huh.
interacted with you a ton so far. And just says, you did the right thing.
I know it's gonna be hard for Harley, but she's not ready. She's not ready.
You just kind of hear this, like, even though it is like a mental connection, this kind of like grunt of agreement from
Mhm.
your dragon. And there is like a little bit of like like a little puff of flame as
Mhm.
you hear like this grunt from him. And you are going up into the sky, and I'll say can pretty quickly also see the same thing that Electra saw earlier, which is this boat that's in imminent danger and the
Right.
whirlpool. And we are now in dragon play.
Yeah.
So this doesn't
Dragonfly.
yeah, just sing that the whole time. Just quietly. I'm gonna turn off Spotify, and you just quietly sing that the whole time.
No, please. Someone's gonna clip
Okay.
that too. I know they are.
Okay. So we don't need to be in like necessarily initiative order right now.
Uh-huh.
Because like the threat is kind of ambiguous. It's not like oh, it's this guy. So what are both of you doing to try to figure out like what's happening, to act to help protect this fishing boat? It's the fishing boat is not it's not like a little like rowboat, like it's not like a 2-person, like people just went out fishing, but
Yeah.
it's not like a huge barge either. It's kind of like in the middle between those two things. So probably bigger than either of your dragons could just like neither of your dragons could just swoop down and like pick up this boat and like get it out of here, just to kind of like
Yeah.
set the scale a little bit. But yeah, what are you doing?
I think Dorothea and Blaze are gonna swoop down immediately, and even though we can't pick up this boat, like grab it in uh Blaze's back claws and just try and pull it to like shore against this
Yeah.
current.
This seems like it is forceful.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And let me really quick go to um the rules for this type of play. So it sounds like it seems like it's kind of an overcome action. Does that
I would
seem
say it's either an overcome or defend, and both are kind of equal here. So yeah, absolutely.
cool. Yeah, so this would be I think it's an overcome action.
Okay.
Um and do 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 do. So I believe what happens is you decide if you're invoking any aspect. Oh, you choose your approach. Oh, but we already said that
Yep.
forceful.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And I can roll before I decide if I'm going to invoke any
okay, cool.
aspect or take a strong move.
Cool. So yeah, go for it and roll your
Okay.
fate dice.
I rolled a 2 plus 3, so that's a 5 total, and I really want to do this. So I am going to take the strong move, know your dragon better than you know yourself. And Dorothea, while we're pulling this, is going to be like, "What? You lose a step, Blaze? You can't pull this? I know you could have." And just kind of give Blaze a little shit. This giant red dragon, like give
Mhm.
Blaze something to prove. And so I'll do that and add a 2 to my roll. So that makes it a 7 total.
Cool. I forgot to set the difficulty before I had you roll, but a 7 was
Uh-huh.
more than what I
Uh-huh.
would have been thinking.
Is it more
So
than is it more by 3?
I don't think it's more by 3. I think
Okay.
pulling the ship, like, just with your
Uh-huh.
dragon, I would say, I need to look at what my difficulty level is. I'm thinking like a 5 probably, just
Okay.
because of the
That's
size of the
fair.
ship.
Yep.
So not by more than 3, but still a success.
Uh-huh.
So you get to accomplish what you were trying to do. And I'll let you. I don't think. I think. I think if you would have gotten 3 above, you would have been
Uh-huh.
able to completely pull this boat to shore. I don't think you're
Uh-huh.
quite able to completely pull the boat to shore, but I
Uh-huh.
think you're able to keep it from going further down. Like you've pulled
Mhm.
it to the edge of the whirlpool, and getting at that last extra like push is going to be like a little bit more than what you were able to accomplish. But go ahead and you
Yep.
describe what this looks like as you're able to pull the boat almost out of danger.
Yeah, I think it looks like we swoop down like right over the water, and Blaze just catches like a rope off this boat, and then it like goes taut, and we're just like, and Blaze is just flapping as hard as he can to pull this away from the whirlpool. Um, and after taunting Blaze a little bit, I look up to try and spot Electra and Bolt in the sky, and just put 2 fingers to my mouth and give a whistle uh, to call for help.
Very
Oh yeah,
cool.
I mean, yeah, this is absolutely what she was planning next.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Um,
what's Electra doing?
am I going? Okay, great, great, great. I was like, I don't know. Is there any other weird thing happening
Not
before I get to go?
not right
Um,
now.
not yet.
Not
Uh,
yet.
I'm too suspicious. Yeah. I think it would be interesting that I know that that Blitz is not necessarily strong. Probably can't add that extra pull to actually pull out of the whirlpool, but
Mhm.
with how quick she is, and having the aspect of when I dive, thunder booms in my wake, she thinks, or Electra immediately thinks, maybe we can send a shockwave or something that'll kind of push it the extra kind of way if I'm just fast enough. So I
Ooh,
think
so
that's
you're
what she's
like
going to try to do. She's
you're
gonna
trying to do like a
dive and then
flyby
yeah,
and try to like use the like
sonic
sonic
boom.
boom to like
Yeah,
push the ship the rest out of the way. That's really cool.
yeah. I could see it
Ooh,
being flashy, I could see it being quick. One of those
yeah.
2.
Um, that's so hard for me to decide whether it's. I think I'll let you choose if there's one that you'd rather do over the other, flash or quick, because I think both of them. This is certainly this is certainly both.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, it could be either one.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, given I even just taking the time to, recognize that, um Clea and Harley aren't here and that like, "Oh, shit, something probably happened that's really bad." It's just like, "Okay, we just need to act, and then we'll ask questions and figure out what happened with this whirlpool and Harley later." Let's just get this done. So I think it's gonna be a
Yeah.
quick, um
Yeah, that
okay.
makes sense. I think probably the move it seems like is overcome unless you're trying to create an advantage. Like if you're trying to convey something to this, like give an attribute to this ship to make it easier for someone else to take advantage of that advantage. Um, so if you had something like that in mind, that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
if you
think
just
they'll
want to do
have
overcome.
yeah. I think we'll do an overcome because I don't even think they'll have the time after that sonic boom happens to even, like, think of
Think
something.
about yeah, okay, cool.
Um,
So I
so
will say the difficulty for this, especially because Dorothea has already done most of the work with having rolled so well and taken advantage of her dragon. I think the difficulty for this is just going to be we'll put it at 3, I think.
okay,
3 difficulty for
alright.
so
It's
you
like,
roll your dice
I
and
can't
then
roll
add
horrible, roll the dice. Alright,
yeah.
so a click of 3 that we're gonna add to whatever I
Oh, yeah.
roll. Uh, which, that makes it a 2 because I
Oh,
rolled horrible.
no! Would you like to, spend a token to use an advantage or a, attribute of yourself or your dragon, to push this
Um,
to a because you would get +2, if I'm doing the rules correctly,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
if you wanna spend a token to do that.
Yeah, we'll spend a token to do it.
Let me look at the yellow dragon. Actually, I think the aspect when I dive, thunder booms in my wake seems like the aspect that
Yeah.
you'd be taking advantage of here. So you can spend a token to do that, which would push this to a 4 overall, which is a success. So describe for me. It's not like an overwhelming, like, oh, you get all this other stuff success, but it is a success. So describe for me how Electra and Blitz, with this sonic boom, are able to push the ship just out of the whirlpool.
Yeah, I think from the height that they're at to be able to see everything, um, Electra kind of gives, Blitz this look of like, "You wanna try out this absolutely bonkers thing? Like, let's do it." And then maybe with a little bit of an eye roll, Blitz is going to, yeah, just start diving down with this descent. Um and there's just kind of a moment of free fall before she just shoots in the other direction and causes that sonic boom to kind of push it. And there's kind of these waves of whatever water is left
Mhm.
to kind of move it and rock it along.
Yeah, you push it over to the side, and get it out of this whirlpool. I think that Blitz, as like you're going down for this dive, like alongside the boat, does a like spin in midair, and like for a moment your head is underwater as she spins you, um, and like passes by, and there's this sonic boom that like all the people on the boat are like covering their ears and like cowering down down, and it just the sheer force of the sound, almost like the boat kind of skips out of the water a little bit and kind of do like over to the side. The boat is out of danger because from that point, then the people who are there are able to like you're calling orders to each other to like get back to their stations and like basically rowing themselves out of the situation. There is, however, still this whirlpool, and it's not. Um, it is sucking the water out of this lake. So it's not like a wind whirlpool where like the water is still
Mhm.
there. It's like a drain, like water going down the drain.
Yeah, does it seem to be going anywhere past this lake? Or is it just kind of confined to this one spot for now?
The water, are you asking if like water's going down other
More just
lakes as
like the
well?
whirlpool, because like what I'm immediately like thinking of, or Electra would immediately kind of flash back. The camera would like pan to, there was a sinkhole in the road on the
You
way
think that's
over
what it
here.
is?
Is-
Yeah, I think with having had that conversation and making that connection, you think a sinkhole has opened up at the bottom of this lake and all the water is
It's
going down into it.
massive.
A massive
Yeah.
sinkhole, yeah.
Oh no, is that what's sucking all the fish down? Oh no.
You
Oh
don't know.
no.
You
We
don't know. I
don't
will
know. We don't know.
say the
Oh
other
no.
lakes, if there were sinkholes like this in other lakes, it would be noticeable. So you know that that's not exactly what's going on with the fish
Hmm.
because like it would be noticeable if like all these lakes are getting completely drained like this. But yeah, maybe they're connected. Who knows? I
Who
know.
knows? I know, but who knows?
I
Um,
know, but who else?
Has it fully drained yet?
Not fully, but I think even in this short amount of time, you can see that it's probably not quite halfway. But this is
Okay.
like the biggest lake out of all of them, so it would take a little while.
Okay. Um, I'd like to, after we get this boat to safety, um, kind of, with Blaze, kind of skim the water, and I want Blaze to make a bunch of noise, like roar, and kind of see if
Ooh.
there's something underground. Like I want to piss it off.
Oh, very
Oh.
cool. Yeah. Here's what I will tell you.
Hmm.
Um, you as you're before like you make a roll or anything like that, as you kind of like telepathically are like conveying this plan to Blaze, he flies over towards that direction of what you were thinking. Um, and you can see as you're flying over like kind of the center of this whirlpool, you can see down into it this inky black of whatever the sinkhole, this cave or whatever has been opened up below it. So you can do what you just said if you'd like to. You could also fly down into like where this water is circling.
Dorothy is gonna fly in.
Very cool.
Yeah, just
So
like
yeah,
tuck wings and like dive, like
dive
fully.
straight down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a big enough sinkhole that like
Mhm.
you can. It's like
Yeah.
that scene in like Parts of the Caribbean where there's like the
Uh-huh.
whirlpools and it's like so big.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you tuck your wings and fly. And do you still want to do that same move of like trying to scare whatever's down here?
Yeah, I think we're still trying to draw his attention, like
Very
just
cool.
roaring our way through this cavern.
So yeah, what do you want your approach to be for this?
I'd like to be flashy. I think I'm drawing its attention. I think that's flashy.
I think that makes sense, yeah. And
And I
oh,
think I'm
I need
trying
to
to
look.
create an advantage in like drawing it out.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. That was
Yeah.
the next thing I was going to ask. Actually, I'll ask you this. Do you want to create an advantage or do you want to reveal one? Like, do you want to get information
Oh,
about what's
I'll
happening?
reveal one. Yes,
Okay,
I'll
cool.
reveal one. Good call. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think I roll against you in this
Hmm.
circumstance.
And I am
And
not very flashy, so we're gonna see how this goes.
I
cool.
believe.
Oh, I'm a little flashy.
All right. I rolled my dice.
Uh-huh. I rolled
Um,
mine.
what did you get?
And I'm gonna stick with it. We'll see what happens when I stick with it. I got a 3 total.
Okay, I'll tell you just because I'm not going to be, a total
Yeah.
asshole. You're looking at a 5 is what the
Okay.
threat rolled. Do you want to spend any tokens or do anything to try to up this?
Uh, no, I don't want to spend 2 tokens on this. We'll deal with the consequences. Yeah, let's
Uh, very cool. Okay, let me go over to consequences. Okay, if you fail, either you don't create or discover the aspect at all, or you create or discover it, but an opponent gets to invoke the aspect for free.
uh-huh.
Let me look at what these aspects. Find
So you
myself.
could reveal one of the aspects it has and give it a free invoke on it, which and then when it attacks
Yes.
me, yeah, one of its
I
good
actually
ones.
think that is what I'm gonna do.
Uh-huh.
So before I reveal this, I think we are actually in initiative now.
Huh.
Which turn order. Whoever has well actually you just get to go first.
I just get to go first. I have the stunt no time to think. Because I take no time to think, I can go choose to go first in a
Nice.
physical conflict.
Cool. So I am sitting on a aspect that I'll reveal when it is the threat's turn.
Uh-huh.
If that's okay with you.
Yep.
Um and then you get to go and then I think it would be what is Electra's or not Electra but Blitz's quick score? Probably
Yeah.
pretty high.
3. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Cool.
damn high.
I think okay, so both of you will get to go before the threat.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, neither of you quite know what the threat is,
Right.
but you do both get
Yeah.
to act.
Uh, I'm
Nice.
still gonna forcefully attack, I think. I think uh Blaze is getting pissed at not being able to figure what this thing is. And Blaze just starts shooting these like blasts of like flame like in front of him. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna forcefully attack and see what happens. And you can impose a negative on me here for not knowing what's happening if you want. Um,
Yeah. Let me see what are my options here. Let me look at the red dragon. Oh, I think I am gonna invoke. You have the Blaze has the aspect of I act first and think later.
uh-huh,
Seems pretty apt.
uh-huh.
So Natalie, what does that do that I just did that?
So you spend one of your tokens, and I get a -2 on my roll.
Okay. Oh, I don't oh, I do have tokens. No, I don't have
Yes, you
tokens
start
right
with
now.
a number of tokens equal to the number of riders.
You're right. Okay, I do have that. I was like,
Yep.
why do I have tokens?
Yep.
Cool. I will spend I will spend one of them
Okay.
to give you a -2 to this.
Okay. And I rolled with that a 1, and I'm gonna stick
Uh
with it.
cool.
Oh,
I
oh
will
no.
because this is a fight attack, I will roll defense
Uh-huh.
against that. And I get to choose what
What
approach that I
approach it's
use.
defending with.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, I will pick the approach that would make sense.
uh-huh.
Which is only a 4. The threat did
Okay.
not roll particularly well. But
No.
still beats you. What did you say you
It
got?
it succeeded with style. I got a 1.
16 with style. Do you wanna do anything?
Uh, I think if it's okay with you, I don't know what you
Mhm,
have planned for this tunnel, but I
mhm.
think we hit a dead end. I think we went the wrong way.
Oh, Oh, yeah, I think maybe it's instead of a dead end, it's water. So like you get to the
Yeah.
end of like wherever the water is sitting once it's been
Uh-huh.
drained out of the lake, which a red dragon probably doesn't want to fly into water.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
hazard a guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are like shooting down this, and because it's so dark, you almost don't even
Uh-huh.
notice until Blaze's nose hits the water and immediately just like it's almost, I think, almost. Oh, you know what? I think I can inflict. I can give you an aspect, right? Because
You
you,
because
uh,
yeah.
because I succeeded like above you with the defense. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you can create an aspect here.
I think I'm gonna create the aspect of off kilter. I think
Okay.
because Blaze is trying to like reposition and fly back up because like
Uh-huh.
hitting the water and being like, I don't want to be here. And
Yeah.
is going to try, but like that's hard. That's hard to
Mhm.
do. Not even a swoop,
Yeah.
but just like
Yeah.
reverse back up into
Yeah.
the sky. So yeah, I will give you the aspect of being off kilter. Do I get a
Okay.
free invoke for that or no? I cannot remember.
I don't think you do. Let me
Okay.
check my own rules. Now I'm like I run this by instinct a lot. So I'm
Yeah.
like, do you?
Yeah. Okay, I'll also check the cheat sheet.
Yeah. Defend. Oh, so that's what happens. You can, I'll say, so you get a token because you succeeded with style. So you get your
Okay.
token back. Um,
And do
so
you
you don't,
get
so
sorry,
you can
continue.
create the aspect, but there's not a free invoke on it, but you got a token, which you can spend to invoke anything. So
Okay, makes sense.
yeah,
And then is there a because you failed at your roll, is that just wrapped up in the defense
yeah, that'll
success?
be
Okay.
wrapped up on on its attack.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, you have the you have oh, I don't think I give I'm gonna do it anyway. You're off kilter.
Yeah,
I have a
yep,
token. We'll
yep,
establish that even if it's not strictly what I'm supposed to do.
yep.
And it is now, I believe, Electra's turn.
Mhm.
You've
Are
just
all of
seen Dorothea dive into a hole, and I think you hear this roar from
Oh, yeah.
Blaze having touched the water, but you don't really know
Yeah.
what happened.
Like, oh, he's pissed. I don't know what just happened, but oh, he's pissed. That's a problem. Um, are the people that were on the boat like able to like, get off board?
Yeah, I think at this point they've like kind of been able to row themselves over to the closest shore, especially because the water is draining. So they're maybe even a little bit beached and like climbing in like the mud up out of the lake. So yeah, they
Okay.
it looks like they're good for now.
Okay, cool, cool. Um, I mean, I think this is the epitome of acting without all the information, so I'm gonna take a token as I also dive into this tunnel, I guess.
Oh
Like, I don't know,
no!
like, we can't get eyes, we can't see it, so we're
Just
just
dive
gonna
in.
go.
Go for it. Yeah, is there something that you are trying to accomplish? Are you trying to like also attack this thing that you don't quite know what it is? What is like what is your goal in diving? Or are you, or are you just gonna use your turn diving?
I mean, it's more like I just want to know what's happening. Like, is there something down here? Is there like now that Dorothea's gone down there, like maybe there is something down there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like you're
I
also maybe
trust her
trying to.
senses, so
It sounds like maybe you're also trying to reveal an aspect, to try to
Mhm.
figure out, just like figure out what the hell is
What
going on,
is this? What is happening?
what's
Yeah.
happening right now. So, so that'll be the move that you're doing is create an advantage. And then you get to choose your approach. It sounds like your approach is just quick. Like you're
Yeah.
just flying down there.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know what else that would be.
I
It's like, there's not even something, like, actionable for me to be like, "I'm just gonna go do it." It's just like, "Oh, okay. Let's just find
yeah.
out what's happening." Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
I think
not
because
roll
of what you're
horrible this
describing, that
time.
would be what you're doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, you'll roll quick, and
Okay.
I will roll against you,
And you'll
Oh.
also get a
for this to be
-2 because you took a weak move as part of this action.
Oh,
You
Oh,
you're
get a
damn.
token, but
um, I mean, I don't no, I'm not gonna try to tie my stunt into this, I'm just gonna
yeah.
go. So this is just gonna be a +1.
Okay. Um,
Alright.
the threat got a 5 again. Unfortunately,
Oh my god.
is consistently because of the approaches you all are taking, it is very much
Uh-huh.
playing to its strongest attribute,
This might not be a
unfortunately.
two-shot because we might not
My
be
time.
here.
Oh,
I think on its move
Yeah,
it'll be a little bit better for
yeah.
you all.
okay.
So do you want to try to invoke any attributes to try to shift this? Did you say what you got?
No, I didn't, but I got 3.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
doable.
it's doable.
Uh-huh.
I technically could. I think that sounds fun, but also I haven't faced any consequences yet, so, like, I also wanna
You
do
could
that.
you could face some
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
consequences.
Yeah, let's face some consequences. Let's play the game.
All
Let's
right.
let's stretch out the aspects of this game. Hell yeah.
Um, okay. If you fail, you don't get any additional benefit from the aspects. Oh no, sorry, that's an aspect you know about. You are trying to discover one. If you fail, either you don't create or discover the aspect at all, you create or discover it, but opponent gets to evoke it. Or you can still invoke the aspect, but it'll cost you a token. Okay. I think I don't want to do the exact same thing again of just giving it another invocation. So let me take a look at um I think it's what it's basically going to do is end up revealing 2 of its aspects because both of you tried to
Mhm.
discover aspects. It's going to have 2 in it that it can have the chance to get a free invocation of.
Yeah.
And it is its turn now.
Mhm.
So, uh Dorothea, you're trying to get out of this like tunnel of
Uh-huh.
water, and you see Blitz and Electra just like you're almost like going like nose to nose as Blitz and Electra are down here. And
Swerves out of the way.
it is going to be taking an attack on I think probably Dorothea.
Yeah.
Um and so the things that you reveal about this, which I am going to uh if you want to be able to look at the threat to remind yourself of what the
Uh-huh.
aspects are, you'll be able to because I'm going to change the text color to black so you can see it.
I had a
But
suspicion what this was because I wrote the game anyway, but
yeah.
it's nice to have it confirmed.
Yeah. I did when I picked this. I was like, well, she's gonna know what this is. Why
Yeah.
am I not seeing the font color? What this is, as you quickly realize, and I'll say Dorothea has probably even encountered this type of threat before.
Uh-huh.
As this long, thank you. I don't know why I can't change the color. This long tentacle is going to shoot out and try to at least wrap around you, Dorothea, which means that you know that it has the aspect of long tentacles and also the aspect of quick to anger. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll an
Uh-oh.
attack. And so many things open. Which I am going to use forceful, I think, for this attack, which
Uh-huh.
is not as strong as its sneaky, which is
Uh-huh.
what it's been consistently been able to
Yeah.
use. So I'm gonna use forceful for this. And I didn't roll very well. I got a -1.
Okay.
Dorothy, you can roll defense. I am
Yeah,
gonna
and
use
I'm
some of
just
these
gonna try to
free.
outfly this thing. Like I'm trying to beat it
Cool.
with my quick. Like I'm just trying to
Um,
like fly up faster than it can grab me.
yeah. And I think I am gonna use quick to anger is not like solely a positive
Uh-huh.
aspect, but I think in
Yep.
this situation it is gonna be
Uh-huh.
beneficial. And I'm just gonna go at you hard. I'm gonna invoke both of these free
Ooh.
invokes in this attack, which will give me a +4. That being said, I
Oh,
did roll a -1, so this is only a 3.
Okay. I got a 4 total, so I'm gonna beat you.
Perfect.
yeah.
I
Perfect,
rolled a
perfect,
2 and I have
perfect.
a +2 on my quick.
Oh, Can't, how mean can I be? How would I be able to invoke the fact that you're off kilter?
Yes.
Cool.
You'd have to
So
spend a
I
token for it,
spend
but
a
you should still
token,
have
yeah.
some tokens left.
I do. I forgot to write down, but
Uh-huh.
I have I think since Mish isn't here, I'll say that this will be my last token that I have right now, because normally it would be
Okay.
3, but that seems a little
Yeah.
unfair that once the
Yeah.
actual fight starts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will spend a token to unfortunately invoke the fact that you are off kilter to take away from your
Okay.
ability to get away from this attack.
Okay. So you're gonna beat me by
Um,
1?
yes, I'm gonna beat you by
Okay.
1. Which
Okay.
means that you can use stress, correct?
Yes. I'm gonna take a stress.
What does this look like? These long tentacles shoot out of, I think, the water on either side of you, and one
Mhm.
from the water that you just tried to get out of, as
Uh-huh.
this underground octopus. These tentacles shoot out from the water at you and try to actually succeed in grabbing you.
Yeah. I think we dodge like the first 3, and then the one from directly below just wraps around. And I think that stress it symbolizes, I think Dorothea lets go of the saddle and just starts kicking this tentacle to get it loose. Um,
Yeah.
but is now kind of like dangling a little bit off the saddle as she kicks it. And like
So
you can barely see. I you know.
yeah, you can barely see. It's very dark in here.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so that is the underground octopus's turn. I'll leave it up to Electra whether you would be, having seen these tentacles come out. I'll leave it solely to your discretion if you think this is a threat that you've encountered before. I think Dorothea
Mhm,
definitely would have. Electra, it's kind of up in the air whether you would have or not.
mhm,
Yeah, I don't I don't think so. It's like this is very foreign.
mhm.
Yeah. Cool. That does mean that it is back up to Dorothea's turn.
Yeah, I think I want to get this thing um to where we can where we're on a better playing ground, because I suddenly realize like, oh shit, like we're underground. This thing has us where it wants us. And I know it's pissed at me. I know it's quick to anger. So we're gonna flashily um fly up and leave this thing, but try and keep its attention chasing us
Cool.
as
Yeah.
we go for the surface.
That makes sense. So yeah, flashy, I think makes sense. It'll, I think, roll clever to see if it can
Okay.
figure, because you're basically trying to, like, get
Mhm.
it trick it.
And I would like to
And
spend a token too.
ooh, yeah.
I rolled already, so I know what I got. I
Cool.
would like to spend a token to explain how this is just like something I've survived before, and be like, Electra, remember the Battle of 83 I told you about? We have to get this thing to the surface.
Okay, I'm on it. You don't have to regale me with every story, old timer.
I love that so much. Cool. Okay, so what action are you taking with this?
I'm trying to create an advantage of like
Cool.
right where I want it or something like that.
Okay, cool. That makes sense to me. Let me roll the dice. Oh, rolled so badly. Um, I rolled a -4, which turns out to be a
Ooh.
-2. So I think you probably are gonna succeed here.
Yeah. So I'll succeed with style.
Yeah.
So that will I'm gonna create the aspect. If you don't have an idea for what this aspect should be
No,
called,
you can
like
create.
right where we want it,
Yeah.
is what I want
Ooh,
to make,
I like
and it will
that.
have 2 free invokes.
Rad as hell. Okay. I did make a little sheet for just other aspects. Oh, but
Uh-huh.
actually this would go on the threat one anyway because it is one of the aspects of the threat. So right where
Also, real quick,
I
while we have raiders, if I could make a quick pitch, we're playing Warrenguard, which is on
Yes.
backer kit right now.
Yes,
Go back it.
absolutely.
It's a game about dragon riders and found family and the cozy spaces we build between moments of sheer terror. Uh,
Yes, I was going to after like we resolve that, which I just did,
uh
writing that down.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Raiders. Hello,
yeah.
Sword and Key. Thank you so much for the raid. And yeah, like Natalie said, go back this game. It's really good. But thanks for coming in. Let me know in chat what you guys are playing over on your stream. And right now our players are fighting an underground octopus on the backs of their dragons. So it's an exciting time. I think the tides have shifted a little bit here now. At
Uh-huh.
first, at first things were going pretty
Uh-huh.
poorly, but I
Yeah,
think things are going a
vibes were
little.
not good.
I mean, sometimes going first in initiative is not what you want.
Not at all.
Sometimes if you don't know what's happening, you're kind of screwed that way. Okay, so the octopus does now have the aspect of right where I want it, and I wrote down it has 2 invokes. If you use the invokes, feel free to just edit that on the sheet that we're using. And so with you having succeeded with style, where are you leading this thing to? Like what are you where are you getting it where it's right where you wanted?
I'm just trying to get this thing to the surface, like where all of its fleshy bits are exposed and it's not
Mhm.
underground or underwater.
Yeah.
So I think we're just focused on getting it to the surface.
Mhm.
So you fly out of this the tunnel, the underwater tunnel. I'll also say that the situational aspect of off kilter you don't have to worry about anymore because you're no longer in that
Yeah.
scenario. You're
I'm
just kind
on
of
kilter.
stumbling. You're back on kilter, baby. Um, and are flying through the air. And I think Blaze is breathing out this dragon breath and roaring and being very flashy of like, oh, actually, maybe even I would actually walk that back. I think instead of roaring and being like scary, I think Blaze is actually almost pretending as though he's been wounded, and is like kind of like doing these kind of like pitiful kind of roars as you're
Uh-huh.
flying away to kind of lure this thing to like think that it has you where it wants you.
Uh-huh.
And the ground
Uh-huh.
beneath opens up outside of where this lake is a little bit, but not where the ship is or, anything else that's important. um,
Mhm.
Opens up, and this enormous, almost like kind of like not quite kraken sized, but pretty big octopus that is this pale, almost translucent color from being like an underground dwelling creature. And the suckers, instead of being like suckers like an octopus would have, are almost these little like rows of teeth, like you would have if you were like a burrowing kind of
Uh-huh.
thing. That are now exposed, and it's out in the sunlight. It does not look good. It's like kind of wet a little bit and like muddy from uh from being, underground and causing the sinkhole with the water. Um And I think its tentacles are kind of like coming out of the sinkhole that it just created. But the kind of more of the bulbous head is still partially underground. Like it's kind of half out. And but it's right where you want it. Um, that is Dorothea's turn, I believe, which means that it is now Electra's turn.
Okay, great. Now that it's on the surface, I think that Electra and Blitz kind of come to the same conclusion that now that it is right where we want it, we can probably outmaneuver this thing to maybe tangle some of those tentacles together by just like going through different loops and like doing our best to like not get grabbed by one, but like try to
Mm-hmm.
tangle them into each other
Very cool.
because we're that fast.
Yeah, it sounds like you're trying to create an aspect where you're kind of trying to get it tangled up in itself. Is that right?
Hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
And what is your approach that you are wanting to
Oh yeah. Like I hate to do quick so many times, but like this is absolutely what I want to do.
do?
Because we're
It makes sense.
fast.
It makes sense
And
for this
then,
move, I think.
'cause the yellow dragon finisher is absolutely doing like a Pikachu, thunderbolt, and Team Rocket blasts off again. It's great. Um,
Very cool.
uh, yeah, we're gonna try it quick, and I would like to, mention my stunt, which is whenever
Oh
I try
yeah,
to overcome an obstacle with your speed, I add +2 to my roll.
cool. Makes sense. Oh well, actually, does that make sense? Because you're not technically overcoming an obstacle right now. You're creating
Mhm.
an
True. That's
Yeah.
true.
advantage.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
So
no, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So you can't use your stunt here.
No worries.
no, I probably should have had you use it
No.
earlier because
I
earlier
know,
you
I
did
was thinking
overcome an
about that, and I was like,
obstacle.
"Damn it." It's fine. Um, learning new games this is the fun of it. It's like, "Oh, I could have used it for that. I'll remember next time."
Yeah.
Okay. Roll. Okay. Alright.
Uh,
Um, is there a difficulty for that,
yeah, I'm trying to
or
figure out. I'm gonna. I think I don't know exactly what attribute I would be using to defend against this, so I think I will just set a difficulty. That
So
is
you could
not
also say like if it's just taking the hit, that's usually like a forceful.
okay.
Or
Yeah,
if it's trying to outsmart, like it would be a clever. Like, but if the trick is trying to catch them,
I think it
that
might be
might be
trying to use quick, so maybe quick v quick.
okay.
Its quick is not very
Yep.
good,
No.
so I will just roll that, and it gets a 0 for its quick, and I have no tokens right now.
well, I got a 5.
So you succeed with style.
Let's go.
So you create the aspect that you would like to, and you get 2 invokes of that aspect. Um,
Ooh.
do you have some? I'm thinking like probably something like tangled up or something like that.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
tangled up and nowhere to go.
Cool. And then I will put 2 invokes. It now that would bring it to the threat's turn. However,
Hmm.
something is going to happen before that happens. Is actually going to change up the initiative a little bit. Really going to happen in the right initiative order. You two are like in the middle of this fight, and like at first things are going kind of rough for you. Until Dorothea was like, "Oh, I actually know what this thing is. Here's what we can do to, deal with it." Um, but you hear this roar from the sky as an orange blur comes flying into the battle. Blast has entered the fray but has no rider, and you two do not have, other than through your own dragons, have a good way to communicate with her. Also, your dragons she hasn't really been listening to. So not only do you have like this direct threat of like actually the thing that is trying to cause harm, But you have this dragon who is probably not in the most fighting shape, has not been training in the same way that you and your dragons have been, and also is like reckless and a little careless and doesn't have a rider to temper her at all. So her initiative is going to be um right after Electra, because her quick is 2. This is probably the easier way to do it instead of what I'm trying to do. So blast goes there, and then the threat. And actually I think, how do I want to do this? I don't want to treat blast as a threat. Like, I don't want to treat blast as like a threat block. But I think essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to almost treat blast as like an environmental, like a situational aspect, where on her initiative she's going to be doing things that are kind of kind of wrecking whatever is going on. So as she enters into the fray, she is going to just start spitting blasts of magma, but she's not in like communication with the rest of you. So her blasts of magma, as Electra, you and Blitz are like flying through the air so quickly, you're not able to coordinate of being like, okay, you shoot over here and then I'll fly over here. So as you all are flying for like your next turn, I might be able to invoke this aspect of, I'm gonna say, blasts of magma.
Oh no.
And I'm being really bold right now because I'm doing things that are absolutely not in the rules, and I'm GMing the person
I
who
love
wrote the
it.
game. But I am gonna create this aspect and give it I'll give it a free invoke for me. Just
Huh.
because, I'm feeling kind of excited about this idea.
Yeah, treat
Yep.
yourself.
I'm treating myself. Of magma, 1 GM invoke. That brings it to actually the actual threat's turn. And what is this threat going to do? I think it's going to try to swat Electra into one of these magma blasts with the tentacles. It's all kind of, tangled up in itself, so if you would like to use some of your invokes to try to have this be harder for it. But I'm going to use forceful, and I am going to, well, I'll roll first before I decide I'm going to just use one of these apps. I am at a 3 right now. What method are you using to try to defend against this attack?
That's a great question. Um, do I, yeah, maybe I can try to be sneaky and like
Oh
get
yeah.
like so it is just is getting in front of itself in its own way because of how big it is and how big these tentacles are.
Hmm.
And Electra and Blitz maybe being a little bit smaller can kind of just like, hey, I'm over here. No, I'm over here. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
sneaky.
So yeah, go ahead and roll plus your sneakiness.
All
And then we
right,
can
plus
decide
2.
if we want to invoke aspects, etc., etc.
Okay. Sounds good.
So right now,
Um,
go ahead.
oh yeah, it's like that's gonna be a 2.
Okay. The threat got a. Oh wait, what is its forceful? The threat has a 3, so right now it's beating you by 1. I am gonna go ahead and just use my free invoke of the blast of magma, which I think adds +2 to this. So that would bring it up to a 5 that you're trying to beat.
Yeah. So I can invoke the tangled aspect, right? So that would get me to a
Yes.
4.
You can actually invoke it twice if you want,
Oh, right,
because
because yeah, 2 free
got 2
invokes.
free invokes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it.
Cool. So this thing tries to slap you into a blast of magma, and you're just able to like kind of stealthily, although its range of vision is not that great right now. It's used to being underground. It's an octopus. Its
Yeah, like
head is
who
mostly
needs to see you when you're a
underground.
burrower?
Yeah. So your sneaking is going pretty well. Okay, so with the defense move, let me remind myself of what you get. So what was your total end roll? You remember?
Total end roll would have been a 6. Yeah, 2 and 4 and 6, yeah.
Okay, so you just succeed, not with style.
Nope.
So look at the description of your opponent's action to see what happens. It is attacking. It is failing. Your attack doesn't connect. Your claws fail to penetrate. Your bolt of lightning misses. Okay, so this is a pretty simple, like, it tries to slam you into a blast of magma from blast. And you're just able to kind of like dip and dive out of the way because it can't see that well. It's tangled up in itself. And I think I like the idea that you kind of like do these maneuvers through the tentacles, and this one tentacle is kind of going after you like behind and just completely following you through these things, and as it goes for the slap, it is like too tangled up in itself, is just short,
Yeah.
and you like fly out of the way. So you are not hurt by this. And that was the threat's turn, so it's now Dorothea's turn.
All right. Dorothea's gonna take advantage of this thing doing it, and is just gonna come in and blast this thing. I'm gonna blast him.
Yeah.
Sword my sword of
I think the
Start
blast.
best way to
blasting.
get Bolt out, or to get bl- Blast out of trouble is to
Is to blast.
finish this thing off. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What's your approach?
Forceful. Yeah, just yeah.
I'll do quick again to
Okay.
try to have this thing move out of the way. Which is a 3 for me.
Okay. I rolled a 5 total, and then I'm gonna stack some bonuses on top of this.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna um uh in take right where I want it twice to bring it up to a 9, and then I'm gonna spend a
Oh,
token to invoke uh I breathe massive blasts of red hot flames. I'll spend my last token on that to bring it to a 10 total.
dang. Okay. Um, so I have to remind me. So yeah. So what did I say? I got a 3. So you're 9 above.
Yeah,
Or yeah. Wait. What was the
yeah.
difference?
Yeah, I got a 10 total, so 7 above.
7 above. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So do. Natalie, just for somebody who's scrolling through the rules
Yeah.
and figuring out what
Yeah.
happens next. What
So
happens next?
this thing gets a number of stress equal to the number of riders that it can spend.
Yes.
So 2. So that brings it to 5. It has to lose 5 stress, and so it will have to take a mild and a moderate condition or a
Okay.
severe condition. It's up to you.
Ooh. Okay. Cool. Let me. Well, I think it's probably gonna take a severe condition just because of the nature of this
Okay.
threat.
Okay.
Um.
So it will actually only take 1 stress then. Basically, you have to get a total of 7. So
Right.
severe is 6 shift, and then the 1 stress. So it'll take 1 stress in a severe condition.
Cool. Makes sense. Oh, here we go. I finally found it. I don't know why. There's like a very clear table of contents here, and I just kept scrolling past damage, stress, and consequences. Okay, so it's taking, I think, a severe consequence, which would be. Mhm, I think the severe consequence is going to be. I'm trying to think of how to word this.
Mhm.
we've already talked about how it's like vision is not very good in this situation
Right.
anyway. I think
Right.
it's going to take the consequence of I guess just blinded makes the most sense,
Okay.
but like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like you did damage to its like eyes or its senses directly,
Hmm.
but just with like this attack and the fact that it's used to being underground anyway, which I think is a pretty significant consequence, because it's really gonna
Hmm.
hurt its ability to
Yeah.
target any of you.
Yeah. And that
Um,
will get a free invoke on it, blinded.
Cool. So let me put that on here. Okay, you've used the invokes right where I want it, and you've used the invokes of Tangled. Did you
Hmm.
use both invokes of Tangled Up? Heck.
Yeah.
But it will get the aspect of blinded. Oh no, sorry, it goes in consequences. Severe consequences. There we go. Cool. So, which gets one free invoke for you all. Are there other things that having a severe consequence will affect the creature other than having something that you can invoke again?
Not really. It's just more narrative than anything.
Narrative.
And if this thing got away, it takes 3 sessions for a severe consequence to heal. Like if one of our dragons got a severe consequence, it would fall to a moderate next session, and then a mild, and then go away.
Cool. So yeah, it has one stress left and two slots for consequences, and I believe it's Electra's turn.
Yeah, that's me. Um, I like this plan of blasting things. Like that's what
Yeah.
I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let's electric blast this thing too. Let's put 3 breath weapons from these dragons onto
Uh-huh.
this
Let's
thing.
get calamari on the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I feel like forceful probably for the
Hmm.
breath.
I agree. I agree.
Um and it will use oh, I think forceful because it can't really evade or do anything to get out of the way because it really just can't see. So the only thing it can really do is
Hmm.
just try to weather whatever it has
Yeah,
coming towards it.
just muscle it as much as you can.
Yeah. Um, so I will go ahead and roll that. Which I just got a 2.
Also got a 2.
Oh, okay, cool. Do you want well, you do have a free invoke of blinded if you would like to use it.
Oh, that's right.
To add +2 to it, so you would have a
You
full
could also spend tokens if you've got them.
Exactly. It's like I was thinking about spending a token because I'm sitting on 4 right now because of
Oh
chat.
yeah.
must be
It's like
nice.
I gotta spend these. I gotta spend these tokens. Um,
Uh-huh.
so nice, chat. I love you. Yeah. Let's invoke. I spit bolts of crackling yellow lightning. Let's do it.
Very cool. So yeah, that would give you a +2, so you'd be at 4. Do you want to spend any more tokens to succeed with a larger margin?
Could I use the free invoke to just make that larger?
Yeah.
Let's just do that. Yeah, let's just add on to it. Let's make it more dire.
Just stacking them up. Cool.
Yeah, let's just
Okay,
stack
so
it.
it got a 2, you got a 2, and then you added 4 to it. So it would be a margin of
Hmm.
4 that's coming at
Hmm.
it, which would give it a I'll just take a moderate consequence because the stress doesn't add up if I took 1 stress and then a mild consequence. So I will take a moderate one. And yeah, you are like just pumping this thing full of like electric breath from your dragon. And I think it is starting to almost like slide like back under, like it's just kind of slumping back into the sinkhole that it created. It's like a giant knot. It's all tangled up, kind of sliding away from you. And I think I will give it I'm just gonna give it the moderate consequence of I think just like a I don't know what else this would be other than just like electrocuted. Like you have just
Uh-huh.
done
Yeah,
like
I think that's fair. It's like plus like this thing is like partly in water. It's
yeah,
already
that's true. It
damp
is
with
Uh-huh.
the
wet.
water. Like it's
Um
bad. It's not a good time.
um Great. Okay. So I'm going to have it is now Blast's turn. So I'm gonna have Blast. I think just do a move of trying to create an aspect. So I'll actually roll for it this time. I'll be straightforward. And I think what she's going to try to do is use sneaky um to try, because I think she knows that Dorothy and Blaze are not going to be happy about her being here. So I think this is almost like not even about the octopus. This is like, how can I do this without Dorothea seeing that I'm doing this? And is going to try to create um actually, I think maybe instead of trying to create a opportunity, I think is going to try to basically do a sneak attack on this creature to try to give it a consequence, because she does have a stunt related to giving people consequences. So let's have her roll. And actually, if I'm doing that, I don't think it's sneaky anymore. Let's do clever. And he's only a 1. So I will threat, which succeeds. So on this kind of turn of like this riderless dragon, she tries to do like more of a clever move of, I think what she tries to do is cause the sinkhole to collapse a little bit more to get this thing to just fall more underground. And just fails at it. Is going to take a stress, because it was only a margin of error or a margin of 1 between the attack and the defense. But is now, Dorothea, you can see Blast is in this kind of compromised position where she's not even flying. She's like on the ground. And I think maybe her wing is like kind of pinned a little bit under like a tentacle has slumped over onto her. So that's going to be her turn. The actual threat is going to do something that, because we got donations, is going to do, which in its wild thrashing underground, some of the tentacles that are underground, you all hear this kind of like groaning sound as you realize that the resort where the ball is being attended, something that this octopus has done underground, it's like knocked out, like maybe there was like an area that was about to be another sinkhole and it's knocked that clear, and the resort is starting to slowly sink, which is where Pepper and Amelia are. Also, this was Natalie's idea. Credit where credit is due. When we were on the break, Natalie was like, this is something that could happen.
Oh no.
So, which is partially giving credit and partially absolving myself of guilt. That is going to be his whole turn, though, to do that, like, action. But that puts you two in a situation where you kind of have 3 things going on that you need to choose between. 1, the resort that is starting to sink. 2, Blast, who is pinned under this thing. And then 3, of course, the the underground octopus. So what is Dorothea doing?
Dorothea is immediately like panicking a little bit, but is trying to keep her cool. And I think is going to bark an order, which is one of my regular moves at Electra, and be like, save Blast. They're one of us. They're part of the Warrenguard. And is going to fly for the resort as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you can get over to the resort. I'll say, it's close enough, like, that it's not, like, and distances
Mhm.
are kind of,
Yeah.
whatever
Yep,
thing,
are
that you will
abstracted in this
have,
game.
yeah, that you'll have time to be able to do something. Like, it's not gonna be your whole
Uh-huh.
turn just to get over to the resort.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get over there, I think there's maybe, like, a big window or something. Oh, actually, I'll let you choose. You can either go through the door that's big enough for you to get through, or
Uh-huh.
there is a big, beautiful stained glass window that you can fly through.
Oh, we're gonna fly through that window.
Yes, Polish Shrek. I
Um,
object.
you crash through this window and like Reginald is like standing a little like kind of below it, like looking around and like telling people like don't panic, this is very well built, and like things are like it's like very like the like
Hmm.
Titanic kind of vibe.
Uh-huh.
This won't sink into the ground, there are way too many structures and things in place, and there's like a groan. This window explodes above him as Dorothea
Yeah.
and Blaze come flying through. What are you doing?
I'm yelling, everyone out! Back
Yeah.
door! Go, go, go!
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't even think that's a role, really. Like you're giving
uh-huh,
people a direct like thing to do, and it's
uh-huh.
not a hard sell by
Right.
any means. I will say you notice that Pepper, instead of directly just running out, is even without her dragon still doing the Warrenguard thing
Uh-huh.
of running around in the building and making sure that other people are getting out
Yeah.
safely before she does.
And I think I'm gonna I suggest an idea for you.
Mhm.
Uh, just at the last minute, I'm gonna swoop down and grab Pepper and pull her onto the back of because I've still got that two-person saddle on from when we flew
Yeah.
down.
How can I say no? How can
Yeah,
I say no to that? How can I leave that to a
yeah,
roll? Yeah, you swoop down. I think she doesn't look mad at you per se. She does look a little bit like married couple, like, ugh, you always do this. Of
uh-huh,
like she
I
is
always
like
have
was
to crash
helping
through the
people. Yeah,
window.
you always crash
uh-huh.
through the window and save my life. I'm trying to be selfless and you save
Uh-huh,
me. But yeah, you pull her up onto the saddle and she kind of like, like biker babe, like wraps her arms
uh-huh,
around you in front of
uh-huh,
her. And yeah, people are in a little bit of danger because they're not the whole place isn't evacuated yet. But you came in, you got your you got your wife. People are running out.
uh-huh,
I think that seems like probably your action, even though you didn't have to roll for
uh-huh.
anything. But I think
Yeah,
that's a reasonable thing to do in a turn.
uh-huh,
Which takes us to Electra.
Yeah, I mean, there's a dragon. We gotta get out from under this thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god. Yeah, because like, I mean, that's the thing. Blitz, at the very beginning has shared concern, so I think she is, on board with this too.
Mhm.
Um, as a, passive aggressive, she wants to be about it. Um, she she wants to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the best thing I can think of is just trying to like muscle this thing and push off.
Into like the
What
hole.
yeah. 'Cause yeah, I don't know how you can
Yeah.
really outmaneuver or anything like that to help a dragon out from under this. So yeah, no, this sounds like more of a physical force kind of thing.
Yeah, I do think it is a physical force kind of thing. I think this is an overcome move because you're not
Okay.
necessarily attacking the octopus. You are, it sounds like, trying to push it away so that
Hmm.
blade or so that oh my gosh, I did this to myself, so that blast can come out.
Blast. We did this to ourselves.
So I think that is overcome. It seems like it would be forceful
I
to
think so too.
me. Um and I will have I think I think the target is going to use the defend action, and I think it's
Okay.
again just going to be forceful versus forceful.
Okay.
So ooh, not going to be that hard to beat. It did get a 0.
I really didn't fare better. I got a 1.
Oh, I guess I should check what it adds to it. Okay, it's overall a 2 for it because it rolled a 0, but it gets 2 to forceful. So did you roll a 1 or you overall got a 1?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I have things for forceful, don't I? Yeah,
We
no,
both
that
did the
ties it
same
then.
thing, which
Because
is
I
just
rolled a plus
forget.
1. Yes.
Forget the other attributes. Okay, it does have electrocuted as a condition, which I believe you get an invoke of. So if you would like to, or if you have a token that you would like to use to push this other above just being a tie.
I mean, like, let's go ahead and spend a token again.
So that would, you said you had, we were tied, so we both had 2. So if you spend a token, you'll
Mhm.
be at 4.
4.
If you can think of one more thing, then it would be an overwhelming success, which I would say would be pushing this thing down the hole. If you can get less than an overwhelming success, blast is going to be free, but the octopus is still going to be, in
Yeah.
play.
So you can also take a strong move, remember?
I was thinking,
Um,
yeah, I was
yeah.
looking at these and I was like, I could spend a token to pull
Uh-huh.
off a stunt no one else could.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yes!
Or do something risky to great effect. I mean, I feel like either one could
Or
fit in the
show why you're the
situation.
best.
Or I
Or
could
show why you're the
oh, that's another
best.
really good one.
The thing that will be heartbreaking here is that almost no one is here to see this.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's
Dorothea is
heartbreaking for the
not
ace. I
here.
hate it.
Blast will see it. I think some of the people on the boat, maybe, but but not your squadron
Mhm.
leader, unfortunately. Yeah, which one of those strong moves are you leaning towards?
Um, yeah, let's go and do something risky to great effect. I think
Cool.
that's the way to go with this one.
So the end result of this is going to be that you push the octopus back into its sinkhole, and I'll just say, like above the table, it's gonna be beating a hasty retreat. It's once it's back
Yeah.
underground, it's gonna be
No
taken
way.
off. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's bitten off more than it can chew. But what does this look like? What is the risk that you're taking? And like, what does this look like for Electra?
I think that if we're pushing this thing off of blast, um I'm gonna get Blitz to put her head like under one kind of side of it. And Electra is actually going to like get off the saddle and like go
Oh
to the
wow.
other side and try to like do the best that she possibly can as her little self.
Yeah, can I offer something that would be even
Perhaps.
riskier for you
Perhaps.
to do? I kind of what if Electra, instead of like like jumping off and like running around, if you just jump off like as Blitz is flying to like the side that she's gonna push from, if Electra just jumps off the dragon and like lands on the opposite side.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, that's great. I love that. I love that.
Cool. So yeah, similar to how you mounted the dragon, you dismount, which is she's still flying, and you just jump off.
She looks over like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that?
why, why don't you stop? And she immediately starts just like shoving her body against this like rubbery creature, and is trying to like push it under. Um, and I think you're able to basically like lift up the tentacle that is flopped over Blast's wing, also freeing her, and she kind of like slinks away, like when a cat doesn't quite land, like hit the landing for something, and then like pretends that like they never even did anything. It's like kind of like Blast is like kind of sneaking away a little bit, but does give like a few like body pushes to this thing, and it slides back. And I think even as you're pushing it, its tentacles are like kind of like, okay, actually, we all have the same goal here. So it's also like trying to push
I
itself.
actually don't want to be here.
I actually don't want to be here anymore. I'm super tangled up. I can't see anything. The above ground is horrible. And just kind of like, very octopus like just kind of like "Ugh," and like flops back into this sinkhole, and you do hear this kind of low rumble as it begins to tunnel away, although kind of slowly given the fact that it is all tangled up in itself. Um and you have uh accomplished, at least for now, defeating this threat. It's still alive. It might it might come back later. It'll need to take some time to lick its wounds. Um, but the unfortunately, I was gonna say you could return to the gala. Unfortunately,
Not quite. Yeah.
the resort is kind of like it's not completely crumbled into the ground into the sinkhole, but I mean obviously no one can be in there, and it is like the foundation is cracked. It's like, parts of it are like falling and crumbling. Dorothea, what does it look like as you're kind of finishing up around it, like getting everybody out of there?
Yeah, I think we've finished getting everyone out, and then we kind of erupt back out the hole in the window just as like half this resort crumbles into the sinkhole,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
flying up toward home. And I look back and see that Electra has handled this and give another whistle uh, to call Electra with me and head home.
Yeah,
Oh,
you just took
without skipping a beat, Electra's already, like, mounting Blitz and, like, beelining for Amelia because, like, she right now does not know if she's okay. She
Yeah.
hopes, but, like, I don't know.
It sounds like Electra is kind of just not obeying the command from Dorothy
Uh
of like, all
huh.
right, we're
Not
going
right
home.
now. There's
Yeah.
there are important things.
I'm like, we need to do debriefing, and you're
I've
This
got
is
my wife.
debriefing for me.
yeah.
um and so you Electra fly down to Amelia, who is like from above you can see that she's out of the building, and is kind of looking around at people. I think there's kind of like a cluster of this is such a weird way for me to phrase it. There's like a cluster of singles basically, which is just like people who didn't have like other people that they were like, get out of here with me, like that kind of thing, because there's definitely people with like kids or other family members that are like
Mhm.
getting them all out. So it's just a group of people who are there by themselves who are like like looking around, helping each other out, like checking for like injuries and stuff like that. And you fly down and land with like a thud in the middle of like all of these people who are recovering from this really terrifying event. And
Yeah.
Amelia just looks at you and has this kind of this is the first time she's seen you probably riding a dragon. Is that fair to say? Or do you think that she would have seen like you trained somewhere near her?
Um, no, I think this would be. I think yeah, this would be the first time.
Um, and just has this kind of like starry-eyed look as you are like so like dapper like gorgeous, like fly down and just looking at you like just
And then
in awe.
then the small details get to creep up, like, Electra's hair is, like, so unkempt now because, like, her head got dunked into the water,
Oh yeah, that's right.
like, makeup's running, like, she looks a little worse for wear in that
I
regard,
forgot I dunked
um,
your head in the
but,
water
uh
first thing.
yeah, um but at least, like, holding up, some of the hair out of her way is, this dragon hairpin that Amelia gave, to Electra that she still wears under her helmet. Um
uh, Amelia races like runs over to you and is like kind of like looking up as you're on the dragon, is like, "Are you okay? What was happening? Is everything all right?"
"Oh, all of the day's work, are you okay?"
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. I was kind of close to the exit when everything happened because I was trying to see if I could, watch and make sure you were okay. So I got out right away. What was that?
Your guess is as good as mine. I've never seen anything like that.
Is this
That
the
was
kind of
terrifying.
Is this the kind of thing that you deal with every day?
Yes. All in a day's work.
She's just like completely like she's like, wow, I know you mentioned some things like this in your letters, but nothing like this. I didn't realize that. Wow, and so humble too. Just
So humble.
um, Dorothea, you had probably noticed at this point that
Mhm.
Electra is not following behind you.
Yeah. I'm picturing, and so if you want to have your NPC, it's okay, I tell your NPC what to do.
Hmm.
Dorothea is gonna be like, "Oh, why didn't she come? I'm gonna go back and yell at her." And I think Pepper's gonna be like, just calm down,
Yeah.
let her have her moment.
Yeah, I think she actually like not only does that, but also like kind of like it has like almost her chin like resting on your
Uh-huh.
shoulder, and just kind of like whispers in your ear and is like, don't you remember back in '85 after after everything that happened, how nice it was to see me? Just kind of like reminding you of when you were younger and the
Yeah,
hijinks that you would get up to.
yeah. And I think I'll kind of turn in the seat and kiss her and be like, I think I fucked up with Harley tonight.
What happened?
She had an early mistake, got pulled out of her saddle from her dress, and I sent her back to the Warren.
Hmm. Out of character, what do you think is Dorothea's least favorite chore on the chore wheel?
I think for sure uh, it is mopping. I think she just hates like we've got to keep like the floors clean and all that. Dorothea hates it.
Um, so Pepper still kind of like not quite whispering in your ear, but like close to your ear says, "Well, I'll give you a choice as far as consequences. Either be on mopping duty for a month, or you can go to Harley and apologize."
I'll take Harley's mopping shifts too.
Oh, she feels bad for this. Oh no.
Yeah, and Pepper like gives you a little kiss on the cheek and a little like squeeze around your waist. Um, and the two of you fly back up to the Warren. Um, and we're now like pretty much in the epilogue. Is there anything else? Normally we would do like leveling up things, which actually I can still touch on.
Uh-huh.
We aren't necessarily
Yeah,
going to take experience for this since it's one shot, although
yeah,
question mark, question mark,
yeah,
question mark.
yeah.
So at the end of this
Perhaps.
chapter, you gain one experience if you made a good impression, and another
I
experience
don't think
if
we did.
yeah, I don't know that you did,
No, not
unfortunately.
at all.
You get another experience if you feel you made the hold a better place. Which I'll let you think about that for a second.
There
I
are
think
pluses and
so.
minuses. I think we just evened out.
We got rid of that eyesore of a resort.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
true. And then lastly, each writer gains experience if they danced, which all of you
Uh-huh.
did. So you do get
Yeah.
experience for that. Um, yeah, if we were playing, a campaign, maybe we would have some more negotiation about whether you did make the
Uh-huh.
hold a better place, since you didn't actually completely eliminate the threat, but you did
Right.
destroy the resort that people don't really like. So, pros and cons there.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else that you all want to like establish that your characters would be doing or saying or anything like that before we wrap up the stream?
I mean, are we introducing Blast and maybe Pepper to talk a little bit more? Or maybe like what's going on after, this battle and,
Uh-huh.
Blast kind of slinks away and like
Yeah,
what kind of
Yeah.
conversations are we having after that?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll ask you too. What do you think your approach is towards Blast for what she did of like flying into the fight? What do you think about either of you would do?
I think um, Dorothea's gonna tell Blaze to pass to Blast. The Blast is a part of this Warrenguard as long as they want to be, but they have to keep let us scrub them clean. They have to be in fighting shape, and they're gonna train with us.
Uh, I think Blaze is a little surly about it,
Uh-huh.
because he's like, oh, this like whippersnapper is like
Uh-huh.
blasting magma all over the place. Um, but does kind of okay, if you think that's what's best, and turns, and you can see again like Blaze communicating with Blast, and from their body language, um Blast at first is like kind of like puffing herself up and like looks like
Uh-huh.
getting defensive. Is like, well,
Uh-huh.
I was trying to do something good. And uh Blaze is kind of like not Blaze is bigger than Blast, so is not like
Uh-huh.
trying to be necessarily intimidating in like a really like forceful way,
Mhm.
but just is bigger and a little bit more intimidating. Um
Mhm.
and just is kind of like completely still and just communicating something as Blast is like puffing herself up a little bit. And then you see Blast kind of like deflates a little bit and then kind of like slinks low to the ground and kind of like rolls over and like exposes her belly. And Blaze starts to like turn away to be like, okay, job well done. And Blast very playfully jumps back up to do like a play fight.
Uh-huh.
Like kind of having gotten Blaze like a little bit
Uh-huh.
caught by surprise. And so the two of them take to the sky and begin doing this kind of play fighting, which is like a way of training for these
Uh-huh.
dragons. And as you see Blast and Blaze up in the sky, and I think the other dragons join as well to like kind of
Mhm.
get Blast back into fighting condition. And you see a little bit of a spark in Blast for the first time in a while since she lost her dragon. And I think that's a good place for us to wrap up this chapter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this chapter.
This chapter, at least for now. So I will throw it over to the two of you to, for anyone who missed the first part of the stream, reintroduce yourselves and mention other stuff that you have going on, where people can find
Uh-huh.
you, and of course, Natalie, talk some more about this game, mention the stretch goals
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. And we'll start with Hack and then go over to Natalie.
Okay, perfect. Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Hackalot. I'm here. I'm on your screen, and tonight I was Electra, who was Electra Blitzrider, along with Blitz the Yellow Dragon. You can find me all over the internet at Sir Hackalot, including Twitch. Itch, I guess Twitter as long as supplies last. Blue Sky, I'm all over the place. Just find me. It's the best place to figure out where I'm going to be in the TTRPG space next because I tend to wander a lot and do a lot of things, wear a lot of hats, get to collaborate with all kinds of cool people, like the two people that you see here on your screen. Um, in terms of what I have coming up, I just want to shout out like one like big thing. Um, from March 3rd to March 9th is on the Wild Side Week over on Lost Caravan RPG. It is a charity week that I am helping organize to raise awareness for World Wildlife Day, as well as raise money for Rewild, in addition to the PCRF, because I still need to stay on Palestine even throughout this week. Um, And yeah, there's all kinds of really cool games, all conservation focused, all like wacky wild animal games too. There's a great assortment of GMs and really talented players. And I will be GMing for the last day, the ninth of that week. We'll be doing some Monster Care Squad. It's a really good time, and I'm really excited for it. So please, if you have the time, just tune in and support the week if you can.
Cool. Natalie, how about you?
I wrote this little tabletop role-playing game called Warrenguard about
What is
dragon
it called?
riders.
Sorry, I don't think I'm
Warrenguard,
familiar.
Warrenguard, Warrengaurd. I spell the word a lot. Warrenguard is currently on backer kit, and it would mean a lot for me if you guys pledged. We're in that middle of a campaign slump where pledges start to roll in much slower, and it is so hard watching that number after the first 2 days of skyrocketing success
Yeah.
like start trickling. Um, so if you're considering backing it, please don't wait till the last minute and forget. Back it now. It's currently available and it's really good. Uh, I also wrote another game called Sapphic Space Pirates. If you go to my website, luckoftheharbor.com, you can check that out. It was also, uh, yeah, it's really fun. It's also available as an add-on. If you back Warrenguard, you can add Sapphic Space Pirates right to your cart. And then lastly, every Friday night for the next couple weeks, I am over on Critical Misses where I am GMing Warrenguard. So you can come check out the Tidehold Warrenguard, which is run by their old timer and caretaker who are a divorced couple.
Oh, wow.
Uh, it is spicy. Uh, it's very fun. So tune in and check that out.
Yeah, and it's a great cast too. I haven't been able to tune in
Yeah,
and watch while you're live, but like the
yeah,
promos of like everyone on it is really good.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Also I will say back Warren Guard right now because then I get bragging rights if you backs it during
Uh-huh.
my stream, and then that means I'm a good
Uh-huh.
streamer. So
Yeah. I mean, you're a great streamer anyway. And we got some backers while we were streaming that I'm giving you
and I
credit
am
for.
taking
So,
full credit, whether
uh-huh.
it was a coincidence or not.
Uh-huh.
Um, Speaking of being a great streamer, I'm gonna really quick shout out some follows and donations and things like that. Some of them that I already mentioned earlier, but I like to do at the end of the stream too. So Critical K for the follow, thank you so much. Natalie, of course, for the $15 donation at the top of the stream. We got tons of Dragon Breath redeems, which is great. I've been doing a lot more of that kind of like
Yes.
uh yeah, those kinds of things where people can make things come up on stream, so I'm really glad that people like those. Silent Infinity, thank you for the follow and for the donation to the PCRF. Dreamy for the donation to the PCRF. Kiato for the $15 donation. Sword and Key for the raid. If you're still here, thank you so much for that. I hope you enjoyed what you were able to catch. And then during this stream, you all raised, not in addition to backing Warrenguard, which I will take credit for, you also all donated a total of $50 towards the PCRF, which is just great. It's much needed. Every dollar of that goes a long way. So really appreciate everyone who donated. And the last thing I'll say is I do have some other exciting streams coming up this month, starting what's the closest one? Thursday. I am playing a 2-player game called Lost Among the Starlit Wreckage with Anne, who's Exo Girl Wonder on Twitter. That's gonna be really good. We're gonna be playing a mech and they're a mech pilot who's like stranded in space, and then a rescuer who is trying to get there in time before the mech blows up. So we're gonna be doing that on Thursday evening, 6:30 Eastern. Also this month I'm gonna be running, well, not even running. I'm gonna be streaming a GM-less game called The Anomaly. It's gonna be part of my incredibly indie series where I show off very indie games that maybe you haven't seen before. It's a Descended from the Queen game, so it's GM-less. That's kind of inspired by things like Annihilation. That is, oh my, look at my calendar. 6:30 on Saturday the 16th. And then the other thing I'll mention right now is that I have a stream of Over the Table, which is my like Reddit stories video podcast stream. That's gonna be on March 30th at I think 2 p.m. is the start time. And we just like I round up stories about TTRPGs from the internet and have guests on to react to them. Some of them are like horrifying things that have happened at tables. Some of them are like fun stories. Some of them are like advice. And people can also submit stories. So all of that is some stuff that I've got going on this month in addition to other streams. But those are the main ones that I'll talk about. I think that's everything that I need to talk about before the stream ends. So we are gonna raid somebody. Let me get the link for our
Is it
raid.
the one I pointed out?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it
for
is the one that you
D'Angelo.
pointed
Yeah,
out.
D'Angelo Murillo, who is a stretch goal writer for Warrenguard, is
Yes.
writing some world lore, and then also playing in that stream is Val, who writes as VM Ayala, who is also a writer for Warrenguard. Is going to be writing these like journal entries following a dragon rider from like their choosing to like they're learning to fly to their assignment to their first Warrenguard to the death of their dragon. It's going to be like
Oh,
these heartbreaking series of journal entries in the book.
okay.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so we're gonna read that, D'Angelo. So stick around for that. Let me put in the chat command now. And yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching and for backing Warrenguard and for donating to our donation fund for the PCRF. It's much appreciated. And oh, I forgot I have raid messages. Is this the command? You can say stuff when you get over to D'Angelo's stream. Is this the message? Oh, I don't remember what the command is because I changed it. Just say hello when you get over
okay.
there. And yes, I think that's everything. So, do you guys want to say goodbye to the chat and goodbye to the YouTube VOD?
Of course.
Yeah.
Goodbye, chat.
Bye,
Goodbye,
chat. Bye,
VOD.
YouTube bud.
Goodbye.